You're watching Suckprofessor. Hello, everybody. It's me, Hank. I'm joined by
James.
James. Welcome to our channel here, everybody. We're going to talk about Westworld Season 2, Episode 7, called...
Not on the screen.
Les Écorchés.
Yeah,
there it is. Say it.
Les Écorchés.
Les Écorchés.
I'm assuming I took years of French in high school, but I've not been up to practice, and I do not know exactly how to pronounce that, but I do know what it means because I Googled it.
Well, let's get to that part. What does
Apparently,
it mean?
it is a study of a body which has had the skin removed such that the musculature can be observed.
Kind of like Body Worlds?
Kind of like that, yeah.
You ever been to that exhibit?
I have been to that exhibit.
Bad first date.
It's really creepy, though, considering how the exhibit was made, but we won't get into that.
The
morality behind it.
Take it from me, everybody. Don't take a girl out to Body Worlds and then sushi. Not a good idea. Welcome to the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy our stuff or support us on Patreon. And also look for our podcast, which we do on Patreon, which has extra content about Westworld. We actually pick out comments from the YouTube channel. So, will you be lucky? But holy shit. Fuck, James, whoa, this was a mighty meaty episode.
This was an episode that had a lot of meat. It had a lot of jumping between timelines. It had a lot of nuanced revelations and different things that you should pick up on. So I'm a little worried that we're going to completely screw it up, but I'm going to try my best not to.
Yes, we're going to
try. And I know you're going to do the same.
We are faithful. We're like monks of accuracy. But because we believe in forgiveness, we screw up constantly, and we forgive ourselves for not being accurate. It's religious or something. So, I don't know, we do have the spirit of trying to make it accurate, but this show is impossible to understand, at least as far as I can tell.
Well, I mean, if you were to watch it, say, twice, and you were to, like, pause certain scenes, rewatch them, take notes, read Reddit, read other recaps, do stuff like that, you could probably follow it pretty accurately without missing a beat. But we're not doing that.
Yeah.
We watched it, and now we're going to do Hail Mary pass, trying to get it right as best we can immediately after watching it the moment it aired on HBO.
Exactly. This is kind of like accurately describing a kid's soccer game.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to do it.
This is like
unless you
giving
studied
an
the game
oral
film.
book report right after you read the book, as opposed to the kid who's going to deliver his after having spent a week writing it and everything.
Exactly. All right. Well, I think we've hammered that
Yes.
that horse, that beating a live horse. So let's do it, but just so people understand, this is kind of a podcast, a lot of rambly discussion here, or we sometimes take tangents, but we stay on course here. But it's more of a start of a conversation that we continue in the comments and on Twitter elsewhere. So that's how to think about it, I hope. Or you can just watch it with rage in your heart and call me a cuck. So...
Can I do that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you should hear your sleep talk, James. It's all nothing but cuck, Hank, he's a cuck. It sounds like a bunch of chickens in there. Okay, all right, let's get here we go. Boom. I was
going to say, before we go into it, I've been trying my best since we did the last episode to try and come up with an analogy for what James Delos was, and how a human mind inside a body, an approximation of something that was real going into a digital format.
Okay.
And Ford, at a later point in the episode, says something that I wish I could have thought of. I thought it was perfect in hearing it, but I don't want to forget to say it, so I want to say it now.
Okay.
He said it was basically trying to do that as like a simple boy humming the composition of a great composer.
Yeah.
It's like it's a poor, paltry imitation.
It's like we're approaching it, but we just can't quite get there because it's...
That stuck with me. I really like that.
All right,
but
good.
Moving on.
Good. Perfect. Let's get to it. Here we are. All right, so opening shot is Bernard on the ground, and he's holding the photo of Charlie.
Yeah, he just printed that out of his wrist.
Yeah, he's like Spider-Man from Kinko's.
Yes, his middle name is Epson.
Epson, yes. He's an inkjet guy. But yeah, no, so it's his young son Charlie who dies.
Right, as you can see Arnold himself right next to him.
Yep. Well, in the photo, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. And
and we know that this was the cornerstone for Bernard's programming, so he still has an emotional connection to him, even though he, at this point in his existence, realizes he's Bernard, not really Arnold.
Yes. This is a flashback part of his thing. Do you have any photos you sleep with?
No.
No? I have a old Sears catalog from the late 80s.
Yes.
It's very heavy now.
Good Lord.
Sorry.
I hate that I understand that.
I apologize for assuming you would. All right, so anyway, Bernard's waking up here. What is he doing? Sleeping in the middle of one of these backroom things? Yeah, he's a prisoner of Stubbs, basically.
So
is he a prisoner here?
Well, I mean, no, he's more of an escort. This is not an escort in the sense of a sexual escort, but he's being escorted by these guys.
I don't think anybody thought that at all.
Well, whatever.
Yes, yeah. They're escorting him, by the way.
Yes.
Like he's
a courtesan.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a companion if you're a firefighter.
Yes. So essentially what's happening here is this is the most recent timeline. This is the continuation from the first episode when we saw Stubbs come to the beach, pick Bernard up, meet Strand, come to the mesa where the train hole was already smoking from the train that went through and exploded during that 2-week time gap. So this is the most recent time span.
Okay, good.
And this is Stubbs basically catching him up, saying, these guys here can't be trusted. They're not here to do what they say they're here to do. They're not here to save guests, to save employees. They're here for one reason and one reason alone, and that's to secure the IP, to secure the digital assets.
Yes. It's the most important thing over
and he implicates Hale in that as well, because he says Hale and Strand are just as bad as one another. That's their modus operandi.
And we've all been speculating about what do they want to do with all this stuff. And we kind of get an answer this episode. Is that an accurate statement?
Yes.
I mean, every answer opens new questions, but
I think
we'll get to it.
The last couple episodes kind of made it clear, and this kind of just cements what we already knew, that the purpose of Delos was not to create an amusement park to enhance the enjoyment of people escaping from their stressful lives and doing things they would not normally do in their regular course of actions. Yeah. This is an effort to achieve human immortality. That's bare minimum. That's what they're trying to do.
Right, which is sort of intuitively valuable. I think you could sell that for a lot, probably even more than for baldness cures.
It's sort of like, this episode reminded me a lot of that Black Mirror episode, the San Junipero or something like that, where heaven was actually having your consciousness injected into a server, uploading into a server.
I thought you were talking about the one where the lady grows a boyfriend in the bathtub.
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, that one's fun. Kind of like those soft, squishy things you put in a glass of water, and then all of a sudden you have like a 6-inch Triceratops.
Yes.
I interrupted you there. You were on.
No, did I? Yeah.
All right, let's keep going then. They're just getting into this whole thing.
So
like,
as they're talking about Strand and his nefarious, plans, Strand himself walks up,
Floki, who we call lovingly Floki, but he's the head. He's like kind of like leading the security apparatus.
Yes.
That's what showed up.
And at this point, there's no mixed words here. He's basically saying, okay, you're taking us, are we hostage? You're going to execute us.
Right.
You know that we know too much. We know what you're really doing. So what's the end of our story here?
Right. And so we learn that they're talking about this key.
Right. Okay. So Strand is actually saying that he believes these two people, or at least one of these two people, he suspects Ashley Stubbs much more than Bernard. He says he doesn't see it in Bernard, but he knows that Teresa was working with Hale to basically get the data out of the park, to get the key out of the park that they needed in order to secure the data from out of the clutches of Ford. Ford was the adversary. Ford was the guy that they were working to oust so they could basically take command of the park. They knew he could delete the data at any point in time, that they would lose everything were he to do that. So essentially, this guy was working for Teresa and Hale. He found out that Teresa met an untimely fate. He knows that there's foul play with that. He knows that she was killed for a purpose because she had something that they did not want to fall into the hands of him and his like.
Yes.
So
I was just going to say all that.
Yeah, so he's saying, okay, Ashley Stubbs, clearly it was you who murdered her. We found a bloom of her DNA. We know where she was actually killed. We see through your lies. Confess now, because we know Bernard couldn't have done it. Bernard's a good dude.
He's too sweet.
Yeah,
he's a gentle soul. But they come up to this old house, which you recall was where
Ford's house.
Dr. Ford had recreated his childhood home, where he met his parents and the young Robert Ford, the boy.
Where he met the man who was initially presented to us in a photographic evidence with one very distinct omission to be Arnold, which we now know is not Arnold.
Oh yeah, that other guy. Yeah. I was kind of disappointed in this shot that a little rattlesnake didn't poke its head up in the window.
Yeah.
And just like wiggling around a little.
Or the little Robert Ford crawling with his head half blown off.
Yeah, little smashed kid. He's like trapped on a tree branch that's just like jutting out through his jawbone.
Yeah, because we know that happened in the past, and he would have time to crawl back because this is the Ford time span.
Oh yeah,
so it actually line up.
You never know. Yeah, it could be. That'd be fun. Or it got turned into a Starbucks. All right, so yeah, they go down, and this is an area we've seen this place before. Not that I can identify that, but we know that we've been to this environment.
This is where Teresa was murdered by Bernard.
Yeah,
I almost said Arnold. And there's the prototype for the dog.
The dog, that would be, he called the dog Jock.
Jock, J-O-C-K, not J-O-C-H.
Who? What? J-O-C-H.
That sounds more. That sounds like something.
Is that a spelling of anything?
Well, no, that sounds like something. If Ford were to name something, I would imagine he would name it something closer like Bach, Jacques, something more pretentious.
But that's a boyhood name. That's like a kid name.
Yes.
You'd come up with, could have named it He-Man or Darth Vader or
Darth Maul.
He-Jock.
You can see deep into the future. Actually, no. When he was a kid.
What if it would have been like
this is 2052. So him as a child, that would have been
He would have been like, This is my dog, Thundercat.
Yes.
This is my dog, Archie Bunker.
Watch my dog Goku go Super Saiyan.
Yeah. Or like this is my dog, AOL Instant Messenger. That didn't make any. Why did I back that up? That's the fucking. I was thinking 90s, and that's what I came up with. Jesse, the VJ from MTV. Remember him?
All right, Zach Morris.
Yeah. This is okay. Oh, fuck! I gotta talk about this. So James, pay close attention. I don't know if you picked up on this when we were watching. So we got the dog here. We got Charlotte. I'm a body language expert. I don't know if you know this, but I observe. And she was sitting strangely. She was doing something on the table too. She was acting weird. I instantly came up with the theory that turned out to be, well, we'll reveal if I was right or not. It's called a tease, James. Broadcast.com. Look it up. But this is huge to me. What is she doing? There's a hand. Like a robot arm. It's like she's working. First of all, I was like, I didn't know Charlotte had technical stuff. I thought she was more of a corporate organizer. So that was a clue to my theory, because she wouldn't be fiddling with it, you know?
Well, she's waiting down there for them to come, so she's bored. I'd be playing with stuff too.
It's plausible that, people fidget and they open up an old People magazine or, starts, putting their coffee grounds.
Would have been better for you if she just emerged from the toilet and said the flushes and was like, oh yeah, I've been waiting forever.
Yeah, just woo! Don't go in there for a few minutes, everybody. Charlotte Hale just dropped a hail bomb.
Yes, it's a hailstorm.
Yeah, thank you. That's better.
But I do see what you're saying, though. Nothing is done unintentionally. Every single little nuance has a potential to turn into a bigger truth in the future. So
yeah,
there is something.
It's not like she was holding a pen and in one scene, and then but watch, I saw that and I got excited. Then the camera changed to that. There's no hand there. That is.
What do you mean? We don't know how much time's passed between the time those two screenshots were taken.
Why do you have a vested interest in defending that?
Well, but
because it's obviously milliseconds.
What do you mean that hand is not there? What are you trying to say?
It should be behind her on this table. It's not on the table.
Wait a minute. Go back. That hand is in front of her.
That hand is, she's facing this.
She's facing the hand, yes.
Yes, you can use, her shoulders are both pointed at the hand, which means the hand should be sitting right there. She's facing this corner of the table. The hand is in front of these boxes. It's not there. In fact, the teacup thing, see the blue teacup? That's there.
But correct me if I'm wrong about this. If she's looking at the hand...
Yes.
And you switch to that shot where she's looking towards us, would the hand not be in front of us so you wouldn't see it in the frame?
It's on the table. It's touching this tabletop.
Yes, but it's in front of her, and we're looking at her front on, so why would you see...
You're saying the hand is there, but we don't see it? Do you see it? You don't see an empty table.
Well, that's behind her.
She's facing it, dude. She turns around.
Okay, if she turns around, that's a whole different thing. You didn't say that.
Well, I assume you could tell why... What other direction would she be facing? They're not going to film her from the...
If she turned around and we're seeing the table from behind her, then yes, there's something there. So what I would do...
Wasn't that very clear?
Well, no, because what I would do is I would look at these boxes right here, the ones that
are right there.
And can you go back one shot? It's 3 high there, and if you go back to the other shot, it's 1 high there. So that's not the same boxes.
The teacup, see the teacup? It's right there. These are those boxes you're looking at.
So the 3 boxes are hidden behind this wall right here. Okay.
Basically.
Okay,
yeah.
I got
that. Might be the
now I get
the
what you're
edge
saying.
Of the box.
Okay, I got you.
And that's the 3 right there. But I'm saying that in both that hand is large. This is looks like
you can't hide
hand.
that.
Yeah, it's an arm.
Okay, so if she turned around and what we're seeing, I can see the teacup now. I can see the 2 drawers.
Yes.
There's some.
So it took me 10 minutes to talk you into this. But what do you think that means?
It could. I would have a very hard time believing that would be a goof. I did not notice that when we were watching the episode, but yeah, that seems a little
It really
odd.
jumped out at me. I mean, the show is reputed for its every detail, everything matters. It's a giant mistake if that's what they did. But her body language was weird. Something about her posture and her, I don't know. Confession, I'm not a body language expert. I made that up. I just want people to believe in me. That's a weird thing to say. But I just detected something. I was like, she's just acting a little strange. Okay. So anyway, all right. Well,
but if that is in fact intentional, I'm not quite sure what it would mean, because whose perspective are we seeing things through right now? If we're seeing things through Bernard's perspective, that could be something, because Bernard we know is a host, and he's
that could be the explanation actually. Maybe from here, Bernard, it doesn't look like anything to me.
Yeah,
maybe that's what it is. But yeah, okay. I mean, that's plausible, because
it would be odd.
This shot that we see Bernard walks in. Actually, is that one of the people? But this shot is like her turning to Well, I guess. Well, Bernard's in the room, so maybe we don't know whose POV they're trying to emulate. But
Ashley Stubbs sure as see it.
He should be able to, yeah. And maybe we'll get some more screenshots of this room. So I don't know. That was very noticeable. The fact that I noticed it means it's pretty obvious. That means many other people much smarter than me are probably figuring it out. Okay, so then now what? We're one of you. Okay, so they're sort of trying to figure out who killed Teresa, or based on their suspicions.
Now he's talking about the hand. Go back one.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, you. I don't see it.
Oh,
it's gone.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I know. That's how I feel sometimes. Don't you ever feel invisible in the world, James?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
No, but he's talking about the IP.
How does that make you feel?
It feels great. But he's saying the IP, both of you knew how valuable it was to the world, so you had a very high motivation to pull some sort of ridiculous ploy to, take it for yourself.
But he says it couldn't have been Bernard because he's a smart guy. You're just a dumb jock, so to speak.
Yeah, you're a failed Hemsworth.
Yeah.
You have limited skill set.
I'll tell you what, he didn't fail in the eyeball department, man. Look, talk about some blues, huh, James? Man, I thought I had sexy blue eyes. Jesus, look at this thing. I want to go swimming in those. I want to take off my pants and hop right in, just like I'm on a European vacation. Do they have nice water in Europe?
Probably.
I bet it's better.
I bet it's all bottled. You just jump into a bottle.
Yeah, it's just a big hole. Okay. So then Bernard sees the spot where he smashed Teresa's face and head into the wall, and that's not a nice memory.
Yeah, I don't think she was facing the wall. It was the back of her head, I would assume. He strangled her against the wall.
Sure.
We didn't really see the whole event go down, but the fact that there was a big blood smear there means it was pretty violent.
It was, the blood emerged from a hole somewhere in her head.
Yes.
And, back of her head. So anyway, but that
we can see a gun pressed to Ashley Stubbs' back of his head because Strand is convinced that Ashley Stubbs did what he's accusing him of doing when Bernard was actually the one who did it.
Right.
And right at the pivotal moment, Bernard starts saying, no, stop. It's almost as though he's about to confess to what he knows of what he is and who he is.
Right.
But then they get stopped by...
Well, someone discovers a secret door. Is that what's happening here, right? Isn't that what that was? And so then they merge into this little hallway, which I thought was interesting. In fact, it's actually kind of expected a one-armed man to show up, or maybe like some giant red curtains. And
you're talking about Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or the electricity tree or whatever.
The evolution of the arm is back there.
Yeah. Hello, welcome. Come on in.
And I sound like this.
Where is now? All right, so I don't know. So they're in some new secret corridor, and they emerge into a kind of a storage room. Now, this had been teased to us.
Yes, to a storage room that would have been so much more important, so much more impressive, so much more shocking, so much more revolutionary. Revelatory or revolutionary, could both. I like revelatory, though. Would have been so much better had it not been spoiled by the trailer.
Yes, so this is the multi-Bernard room. We learned,
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty obvious already. They zip open the bags. Oh, my God, there's a whole bunch of them. So this is definitive proof that Bernard is actually one of several twins. So and they all came out of the same woman in one giant disgusting pile of Bernards.
I think this kind of leads us down a couple of lines. Like if you go to the next shot where it shows all the Bernards up, the shot that we've seen from the trailer.
Right. Yeah, one of these.
Here we can clearly tell from the left going to the right. The one in the furthest left has that interior skeleton that the young Robert Ford has. We know this is one of the earliest iterations before they become fully fledged flesh and blood.
Oh yeah, this is like having like an old flip phone in storage.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can presume that this is basically an evolution of Bernard, but what we could also do is assume that perhaps some of these might be modern Bernards that are in cold storage, so to speak, such that the human consciousness of Arnold can be transferred between degradation periods into these new bodies. Now this episode does answer that question definitively.
Oh.
I don't want to say whether or not that's possible yet or not,
okay.
But that's what I was thinking at the time I was watching this.
All right.
Spoiler, it's not possible.
Okay, that's fair. I was still actually kind of hoping they would do some synchronized dancing.
Yeah.
Like Oompa Loompas?
Yeah, just to be more clear, later on in the episode it kind of says that at the time that Arnold died, they didn't have the technology to basically imprint his consciousness via a computer.
Right.
So they don't have a download of his mindset. He was created via memories and approximation of who he was, which is how that whole description came above, like a dull boy humming.
Right.
But that was less for James Delos and more for Arnold's case.
So are we to infer that Arnold always got a new printed body from everything, or are these just iterations leading up to the point to where technology allowed them to reuse the body? Do you know what I mean? Are these just like the old... You get what I'm saying?
I think this was Arnold. I mean, this was Dr. Ford being obsessive in creating the best approximation of Arnold that he possibly could. And these are the different, as technology evolved over the years, this was him upgrading and creating new chassis for Arnold.
But these are, okay, all right. I guess what I'm getting at is, does he reuse these for spare parts, or the era of spare parts is moved on to flesh parts so that he doesn't need them. They're just kind of like having an old car.
I wouldn't think so at all. I would think this is just his Arnold garage.
Okay, why not destroy
his
him?
Classic Arnold's.
All right, well, whatever. Yeah, classic. It doesn't really matter. I'm just throwing out some.
He takes him out for a spin on the weekends.
Yeah. He takes us to the Arnold Park.
Yep.
And lets him sniff other Arnolds and have mildly aggressive interactions.
Changes the oil.
Yeah, totally. So anyway, but then they're like, "Hey, you're a robot, you fucking bastard!" And so they point a gun in his head.
The funny thing is, he was about to try and save the life of Ashley Stubbs by confessing earlier on, but he was interrupted by an action that led to his ousting directly.
Yeah. Bernard's been having a rough few episodes here, I'd say. So anyway, that's the end of that scene. And got some black. Okay. Oh, opening shot.
So his point of authority is now gone.
Right.
In the present time.
Hey, shout out to Jordan Goldberg and Ron Fitzgerald. Thanks for subscribing, guys. Keep watching. So Hale is talking here. She's talking to Bernard in kind of an interview setting. Now this, again, and I'm not saying this because I actually believe this, because we're going to find out that I was completely wrong. But I read this as, oh, she's acting weird, and we've never seen her do this kind of interview thing. She's never been her role to be like a behavioral investigator or whatever it is that she's up to. Not that it's impossible that someone in her role might not try, but this was a new thing for us to see her doing.
Right. As time goes on, I think she evolves as a character in the sense that we first see her as someone who portrays themselves as just a simple board member, who's someone who's basically, just a corporate suit who's in there for the interests of Delos. But it shows that she really has more knowledge of the inner goings of the park and what the interests of Delos truly are than we were led to believe originally. She's a take charge person. She's a military person almost. She jumps in a jeep, says, "I'm gonna need your men. I'm gonna go out there, give me a Kevlar vest. I'll go into the heart of darkness to try and get what I need."
It's like in order to survive, you got to play the game.
Yeah, she's a lot more fearless and gung ho than we were.
What if your work was like that? We had to have these intense. James, what is free will? Is it something you see in the darkness, or is it forever? I'm just trying to get a Chipotle. What the fuck? This is just anyway.
I don't think I could work for Dr. Ford.
yeah. You're hired now.
So I'm having trouble with this Excel formula. I don't know. Everything is magic, but to the magician.
Bite down on this leather thing while I crack open your head and pour some Cheerios inside of it. All right, that's my Dr. Ford. It's pretty good.
So Bernard is going through some distress at this point.
Yeah, also.
And
waterboarding.
Yes, they say what's happening to him. He goes, "Oh, we're torturing him to the point where we're simulating waterboarding."
This is so great. Look, they have all these other different tortures.
Now, what do they say?
Crushing, denailing. That would be fingernails, right? Until possibly toes if you run out. Dental torture. Wow, that's
I've been through that.
Yeah, no kidding. That's every morning with my toothbrush. Disembowelment.
Oh,
that's also every morning. I do it on the toilet. Dismemberment. Okay, I could say member. All right, electrical injury. Foot whipping. What is foot whipping? Probably just.
I probably wouldn't feel anything.
Do you think you just tell him to whip his ankle around real hard? Just whip your foot around. Whip it around.
No,
whip
they get that girl
who's like Michael Phelps.
It's that girl who sings that song, "I whip my hair back and forth."
Oh, I don't know that one.
It's pure bliss.
Is it a recent pop single?
Not so recent, but it's pretty much. It will just. I don't want to say something too derogatory, but it's trash.
Oh, well, that's not derogatory.
It's terrible.
This is Earth. Earth is all trash. It's a fucking horrible place. We got to do the other. Force feeding. All right, so Luke Skywalker comes by and slowly gives him delicious food. Think that's what it is? Kneecapping. Ouch. No, we all know what that is. What is that? So does that mean they just smash your knee with a bat?
I would imagine so,
Does it invert your knee so you bend like that movie where Charlie Sheen fights global warming in Central America with a bunch of aliens? It's called Arrival. The Arrival. Yeah, no, check it out.
Charlie Sheen?
Comment below, everybody. Have you seen The Arrival? Tweet James at Video James SP.
I've not seen that.
James sent his third tweet, everybody. He's finally growing up. I'm so proud.
I
can't wait to walk you down the aisle. Oh, man. I mean, when you say no to your marriage, and they walk you away to protect you from all the inbound.
Yeah, Rosenbar's following me now.
You better run a little bit. Okay. Medical torture. Okay, those are just bills. I'm trying to do jokes about every single one.
What's that long one?
I just suddenly had an overwhelming feeling of being a big fucking douchebag. Pharmacological torture. All right, that's always fun.
I've been through that too.
Yeah. Little tip for everybody: take the pills out of the package before trying to swallow the package.
If it says "do not take orally," do not take orally.
Definitely not, especially if it's a suppository. Psychological torture. Again, they force people to watch Suckprofessor videos.
The next one say what I think it says.
Scalping.
Ow.
What did you think it said?
Scalping.
Oh, I was like, what else could sculpting? Sculpting. They make them just do, but it's like it's a sculpt. Knives.
We know he can handle that, though. He's been done.
Wait, he sculpted knives?
Scalping.
Oh, scalping. Yeah.
When he was in the cradle.
Yeah. Solitary confinement. That's never good. Standing and water. Okay. All right. That was.
So I think he got probably the most humane of them. Although waterboarding is absolutely horrific torture, I imagine that. But I would prefer waterboarding to disembowelment.
Okay. I don't.
You can come back from waterboarding. You typically don't come back from disembowelment.
All of these are pretty inhumane.
And these are just it's a simulation. If you had to pick from that list, what would you go for? I'd go for solitary confinement personally.
Probably that. I mean, yeah. None of these are good. Force feeding maybe because I'm on a diet. And,
if it's just one Skittle, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
You want to shove it down my mouth? Like,
oh
Skittle. God, no!
Or if it was like a 20-pound Skittle, now you're in big trouble.
Yeah. That would be a disembowelment afterwards.
I wouldn't take waterboarding. Waterboarding, from what I understand, is extremely distressful. Because it's not. I know it's insane that we have to have this discussion, but it's filling every cavity in your head with water by angling you backwards and pouring water in your nose, so your brain thinks it's dying. And then you go into sheer, utter, overwhelming panic. It's extremely.
I can't remember exactly who it was, but there was a conservative radio talk show host who was absolutely against
Mancow
in
Chicago.
Yeah, who was
guys, it's not torture.
Yeah, it's not torture.
I can
he
handle
was insistent that it wasn't. And within about less than 10 seconds into the procedure, he gave the safe word. Not the safe word, but he waved.
They gave you hold like a thing, and
you drop it.
You let go, and he couldn't. He lasted like 6 seconds.
Yeah, and
he was shaking.
Yeah, and he was like absolutely torture.
This is fucking torture.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
There was just a recent dude who did that, but he was laying flat, and his friends were pouring like a gallon on his face. It wasn't water.
That's not it.
Yeah. It's not it. It wasn't it. But anyway, yeah, guys, let us know in the comments. Which one would you pick? It's a hard question to answer.
It's a very easy question to answer. Solitary confinement.
Okay, fair enough. All right, fine. And especially if you can play solitaire.
Yeah, would you rather be put in this room alone?
We all live in solitary confinement, sort of anyway, it feels like.
There should be a list at the very bottom that says all of the above.
Yeah. Just doing everything. Okay, all right, okay, let's keep going.
Now I've forgotten the rest of the episode.
I don't remember. I'm so...
Who's that?
If this was me, it'd just be like, I just describe what I see in the picture. And like, oh, no, it's that guy. I remember him.
So why does he say no never?
Let's reset. Okay, right there. All right. So
let's do a memory test.
She's asking him why does he say no never? I don't know.
Bernard, would you ever lie to me? No, never.
that is okay. Well, yeah. All right. So yeah, he wouldn't lie to her. I knew that. I was going to say that. She led the attack here on the Mesa, didn't she? So they're asking about Dolores.
Right. They want to find out more about Dolores. They're interrogating him through their analytical powers.
Indeed. Okay, so I'll tell you what I saw with her father's. So yeah.
They want. I mean, their goal is still what it was when Hale and Bernard were traveling together, when he picked up the control unit from that underground lab. She wants the control unit for Peter Abernathy because that has the key to everything she wants. That has all the core data on it.
Yes, it does.
We assume that's what it is. There could be a twist. There could be more on it than we even know. But for now, we know that is her prime directive.
Exactly. All right. So Stubbs comes running in. Things go chaotic pretty fast in this episode. There's a lot of distant gunfire and everything's going nuts. So there's this response team somewhere out there, and she orders him to go look into this missing team or whatever to send some more men into the fray. The train wasn't the train. So they didn't show the train, any of the explosion. They just skipped right past that.
Well, in the initial recap of the episode, you were talking during it. How dare you?
I wasn't talking.
Yes, you were.
Oh, Ryan was talking.
You guys were kind of going back and forth, and I was trying to figure out what was going on. But they did show a recap of the train, that all Dolores and the Wyatt's group and everything sitting on the train, looking all complacent and smug and everything.
Yes.
And the train going into the tunnel, then it cuts to black, and then the subtitle was "Explosion." So no, you don't see it, but it's implied that it happened.
Yes, they title carded around actually have an animate or do a whole VFX sequence, like in Battlefields where they just show two dudes all bloody.
Yeah, I believe you guys were talking about Warhammer.
Yeah, we were talking about Warhammer. I asked him if he knew about Warhammer, and he started telling me about Warhammer, and I was like, oh, cool, Warhammer. I was like, I need to look into this Warhammer business.
Yeah, and I was like, what's going on?
Trolls, elves, and men with suits of armor? I was like, I've never heard of such magic. I want to get into it. Okay, you establish a perimeter. This is good. This is what it feels like when I go home to my family and they want to know how my career is going.
It's like a modern crucifixion.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus, leave me alone. Why is this guy who looks like Jimmy Simpson standing over there? All right, so we get a perimeter going.
I would have gone with someone else.
Jimmy Simpson?
I would have gone with, what's the guy who plays Freddy Krueger?
Jude Law. Freddy Krueger?
Yeah.
I thought he was real, like Slender Man.
Yes.
All right, Abernathy. I don't know. Let us know in the comments below.
I know it. I just can't think of it.
I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I know the guy who
Wes Craven.
Wes Craven?
He's the director.
Yeah.
The director who directed some Friday the 13th. Oh, not Friday the 13th. Nightmare on Elm Street. Forget it.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll have to look it up.
You just had
I can't remember his name.
I feel like okay. All right, so now we got the gang. Here we go. Dolores with her crew. They're walking up, looking all badass.
And again, we know
this is like their album cover photo.
Yes, and we know this is part of that 2-week time period gap. So it's filling in the missing pieces. This is not the most recent time span.
Yes. I got my hooker friend and my boyfriend, and here we go. We're coming to get you.
Darling Clementine.
She is a very deliberate walk. This Dolores.
She's
leader Dolores.
Oh, well, Clementine more so. She's in Terminator mode. She
has that walk. Yeah,
she's more Domo Arigato. Mr.
She can
Roboto.
carry a full-grown robot without even getting tired.
And a man.
I'm
assuming robots are heavier than
I chose the word very deliberately. I need eyes on this funhouse, Goldberg. So, yeah. So, anyway, it all just goes nuts in here, right? It's just a lot of this technical talk. Get down there, hurry up. And then, the fact that they bothered to, like, zero in on this guy meant that he's going to play more of a substantial role in this episode. Not that he had a big
So
role,
why does he say I'm all warm and fuzzy?
Because... What, are you trying to embarrass me here?
You were talking in this part.
Yeah, was I?
Yes.
Oh,
still about Warhammer.
He's got his hand in his pubes and it's been a while?
No, they basically outfitted them with haptic feedback vests that basically detect when a host is nearby and sends an audio and a vibration clue to them. So he knows intentionally, not intentionally, but instinctively which way to turn and which way to immediately fire. So he knows he's firing at a host, not at a human counterpart.
Sure.
It gives him a very...
Yeah, they referred to the vests earlier, and like when he's like, "Okay, putting on the vest," and then I didn't know that they were haptic until the first time I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I like that they bothered to do that
because the robots, the hosts have like aimbot.
Kind of, yeah.
So this is kind of bringing humans closer to their level to make it more fair.
Although I will say the aimbot thing, come on. There's a lot of bad shots. I think you could make a case, but I also think you could make the opposite case that these robots should never miss when they shoot their guns. But we'll talk about that later.
These are like stormtroopers.
Let that with their blaster rifles. It's so okay. All right, vest buzzing and anyway. So yeah, we have a bunch of shooting. It's kind of cool though. It's like take that shooter, and he just like I feel bad for these robots. These are robots that are dying for Dolores. And these are the.
At first, this guy had a lot of confidence. He was taking them down left and right, and all these robots aren't crap. We got this.
Mm-hmm. And he finds a pile of bodies, which is never a good thing. You don't want one of these. This is, gross. Look at that. Someone might have a sinful thought if they see all this nudity.
What does he realize?
He realizes this is the response team.
Yes, this is the team that they were waiting for.
They were looking for these guys.
And they don't have clothes, which means that someone else is wearing the clothes.
Yeah. Wow, you're smart. I just assumed that they were the naked response team.
Yes. A response team of nudists.
Yeah. Well, they're cheaper. They don't have any clothes. So then Angela comes in and does a nice little knife work here. Mm-hmm. Snap, stab, take that. And then she disappears, or just walks off out of frame. Yeah. But then her gang is behind him. Bam, 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 take that, you jerks. And so we get a nice little murder of the other guys.
So the entire team gets cut down in the blaze of glory.
Take that in the blaze of glory. They're fucking dying down there, and so it's no good. The train is all going nuts. Stop walking and start working. Get on it.
So what does she mean by it'll take time? She basically says,
who's saying it'll take time?
She says, I want an extract of that data from Peter Abernathy's head. He says, do you understand how much data is in here? It'll take time. She goes, well, then stop talking and start working.
Time to cut open his head.
Yeah, even though
to hook up a thing to his head.
Yeah, even though people are dying horribly there, and the enemy is coming in right to the doorstep, all she cares about is getting that done.
Yeah. And this is how you get to the USB port. He's USB 4.0.
Yes. So I'm glad you said that, because at this point, what they're trying to do is they're doing a direct uplink. They're doing a data transfer via
from him, not up to
a data transfer from him. Yes.
Yeah.
But they're not going and ripping his control unit out explicitly. They're trying to do it electronically.
Yes. Yeah.
Digitally.
Right. Yeah. Like you have to copy your hard drive to another hard drive instead of just grabbing it.
Yes.
Unless you want to take it somewhere else. All right. So
which would make a lot more sense, but I believe the guy at the time said something along the lines of, I don't have a skull unit, or I don't have a skull saw, or something like that. An
extractor or something.
Yeah, skull extractor, something like that. The kind of thing that we saw Bernard sit in the cradle when he had his control unit extracted automatically, or we saw the guy on the beach do to the guy who just went like a can opener and sucked it right out.
We need those for turkeys for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And everybody can watch the thing and be like, good job, Dad. You're back. Okay, plow down all the hosts before they reach the cradle. Yeah, so they're worried about the cradle, but we learned this is actually Elsie, who has a walkie-talkie thing, and she's listening in. So she knows that they're under threat, and she's also able to hear gunshots.
But this is also a misdirection, because they are now under the idea that the hosts that are attacking are going to the cradle because they want to secure and protect their data backups.
Right.
And later on in the episode, we find out that is not at all what they're doing. They're going there for an entirely different reason, because Dolores describes her data backup as just another chain, a leash that keeps her tethered to their will. So they don't care about their backups. They see that as a method to control them, to rebirth them after their own death, and to keep their thumb over their necks.
Over their necks. Although I kind of, I don't know, I think I could argue my way around that one. Like, yeah, the problem is the use of the backups, not that they exist. You might as well keep them around. You know,
well,
it's
as long as someone has a backup of you and can reboot you and recreate you whenever they want and kill you and just recreate you, I mean, that is like perpetual hell. That is having way too much power over a person.
Philosophically, it's chains, but
that's what they're talking about.
Practically, I'd rather have a backup. That's all I'm saying. It's like, why do you think I have two Lexuses?
It's not saying that she does. It's not saying that the hosts don't want backups to exist per se. They just don't want them to exist in the hands of those who have been using them for nefarious purposes and for torture and for other purposes that we'll get into more as the episode goes.
Allow me to rephrase what you're saying. The notion of not needing a backup or rejecting a backup is basically allowing the leap of faith required to live a risky life, because a life without risk is not worth living. That's not true at all.
They lose their safety net. They become
but their
more
safety
human.
net, yeah, exactly. So you're more human when you only get one go. Kind of like Data.
No.
Data. You ever see Data? Do you know Data?
Data.
The face. He's got the freaky eyes on Star Trek.
Zuckerberg.
Yes. Oh, all right.
What's the other guy? The evil Data.
Elon Musk?
No,
Lore.
Yes, that's it.
And it's Dr. Yun Soon or something like that. His dad.
I stopped watching Star Trek when they put the emotion chip in him and he started acting and giggling and doing all that weird stuff, and that just creeped me out, so I was done with it.
Brent Spiner's a good actor. I think he deserves a lot of credit. All right, so anyway, this is a huge moment. This is a big reveal because this was the cliffhanger from the last episode, not really a reveal, but we wanted to get to this. We wanted to find out what happened. But this is important. We get back to this aspect ratio, and we see the piano. It's Dr. Ford. Playing a thing, and he does a poem. I got all this. Want to do the poem?
Well, did you Google it to see what this poem is from?
Google it.
At first, I thought it was like a U2 song, like "A Beautiful World to See the World in a Grain of Sand."
Keep going.
But I don't know if those are the lyrics. I don't know the lyrics to it.
It's like Bono's in the room.
But I know it's not that. I know those are not the lyrics to "A Beautiful Day." But for some reason, my mind was doing that, and I was like, I don't think Dr. Ford would be playing U2.
Hey, do you want to play some U2? Drive up the Pacific Coast Highway and put our heads out the sunroof and scream?
No.
Come on, girls!
Is that a reference to something?
It's a full moon. A Volkswagen Passat commercial, probably.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Let's break down this poem. That's what the whole point of Suckprofessor is. It's poetry.
Yes.
To see the world in a grain of sand, a heaven in a wildflower. All right. This is some blunt metaphors, which I like. Grain of sand is a tiny thing, but there's. It's a universally recognized metaphor, a unit of smallness, right?
Sure.
James, I did really well in high school because I could bullshit my way through anything. Yes. A heaven in a wildflower. I agree with that. Flowers are gorgeous. Bees see UV. They have a whole different sensory experience. I even heard they see electromagnetic radiation. So that's no wonder they keep trying to fuck our router. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand. What's he referring to, James? What's
a cell phone called Infinity.
You sure it doesn't mean to an uncountable pile of sand?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe you ought to think about it. And eternity in an hour. Okay, infinity is a notion of time and distance, kind of. Space-time.
Could this possibly all reference the James Delos scene with the time, what do you call that, the sands of time? Hourglass?
Sure, yeah.
Eternity in an hour, it never runs out so long as you keep tipping it up and down. It lasts for practically an hour, I would say.
Oh, depending on, very literal. I like
grain
that.
Of sand, grain of sand in there.
I think this is a hint that this episode is going to be a big misdirection.
Yes.
It's going to be an eternity in an hour. It's actually what's going to seem like a longer story. It's actually not going to be what happened.
It's actually a metaphor for our podcast, which is basically what feels like eternity in 3 hours.
Yes. Except that whenever we say that, or maybe not whenever, but people will correct us and be like, "No, we love it long. It's great." So
that's all me. I have so many accounts.
I know. It's okay. Anyway, all right, Robert, how are you alive? Oh my God, I can't believe it's really you. You look younger.
Yeah, people don't understand. That's the good point right there. If we find out that Robert Ford has put himself inside of this, this is what I was referencing for the Black Mirror episode, the San Junipero, where he has established his own psyche, his own mind inside this universe of Westworld.
Right.
But the important thing to take away here, and this is what I was kind of wrestling with until they explicitly stated it in the episode, is that how is he going to exist in this world as a human mind in a digital construct But he says, my mind works in here, as in the Matrix, in San Junipero, in Westworld.
You're getting ahead, though, but do you want me to skip ahead now?
Well, no, I'm going to get back to where they are right now.
All right.
But he doesn't degrade there as though he were out in the real world inside of a body.
Right, yeah, he's just an old man program.
Yeah. So the whole point, what you just said, is like, if he can present himself in any way here, do you think they just brought him in as is because it was cheaper to do and not as his younger self, his idealized self?
Sure.
Or is he beyond vanity at this point?
Or why not just any old skin, be Goro or be Wonder Woman?
Ready Player One? Just a giant Smurf. This is how I always felt I was.
Yeah, I didn't see that movie.
So I truly am.
You read
the book, so you know what I'm talking
read the
about.
book, but I also forgot the book.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would be, I think you'd go for like 31 years old, or maybe 19 or something.
And it would you would be a naked woman with like 13 breasts. You'd be like, "Ooh, I'm Hank."
Yes. How did you know? That's exactly what I would do. I would do 13 breasts. I'd do a baker's dozens of breasts, one for each day of the week, because I could control how many days are in a week. See? It's because you're God. As we all know, all right. Man, God and breasts. Huh?
So
they both go hand in hand.
Yeah, so at this point he's trying to basically speak common sense to Bernard, saying, well, I'm technically alive in here because you don't seriously think that Delos was doing everything just for James Delos. That the purpose of the park was more than you're perceiving. The purpose of the park was immortality, achieving existence beyond death, transcending the bounds of the mortal coil.
Right. Also, this scene was, because this all exists in the cradle, which is like an internal simulation. We get Clementine back in her old role, giving guys rinds and stuff. Would you like to have a rind with me?
I don't think that's what she means.
I know it's not what she means. I've eaten a lot of watermelon, okay, and cantaloupe, and honeydew. I'll give you a discount. That's a nice thing when they offer that. Who doesn't like a discount?
How insulted would it be if she
every
came
time
to you and said, "Lots of rind on you"?
Yeah,
You not so much.
They give me a razor and be like, "Can you shave off some of that rind?" I shaved the upper half of my back the other day, James. I think I got most of it. Do you want to take a look? Can you look?
I'm okay. That's quite all right.
Here. All right. I got my tweezers out for nothing. By the way, when I go to brothels, they look at me and they go, "You're going to cost more." Just raise the price 20%. No, fat boy.
No, you go in there and old women are like, "How much for him?"
They just start spraying me with deodorant. How much for him? Can't you tell when a manager's just here to go? Yeah. So Maeve is also in her old role. This is just the old Westworld. This is season 1, episodes 1 through 5.
I would say this is basically the default loadout for Westworld.
Yeah, exactly.
This is pre-Calamity.
Yeah, we got guys having fun playing cards and jocks hanging out. Yeah, the Mariposa bar.
Now, do you think that he calls the leash that he keeps him on, which he doesn't really keep him on, a strap? It's his jock strap.
Well done. Yeah, I do believe that. Yes. No, that's good. I like that one. I think he calls it...
But the whole concept... I mean, that's actually a good point. Why does the dog not have a leash? Because he has free will, but he does not. He has the semblance of free will, but not really, which is a big theme with this episode. We'll get back to it later on.
By the way, do you think the dog ever gets an itch?
Sure.
Jock itch.
Gotcha.
It's when you itch your buddy's balls. So I don't think God rested. Okay, yeah. So actually, I did get a lot of these screenshots because I knew this was pretty important stuff. So he's saying basically like that. Yeah, this is this philosophical crap that I find kind of a little bit obtuse to me. Good God rest. No, God didn't make anything in 7 days. It's not even a thing. Well, I know. Whatever.
From a philosophical standpoint, though,
he's comparing himself to a creator.
Well, of course, yes. Yeah. But going back to the whole, religion thing, not saying whether we agree with it, disagree with it, but going back to the core basis of the story, the fable, is the whole Adam and Eve thing. Is it not a contradictory statement for God? The idea of God is someone who is infallible, someone who knows all, is omnipotent, who has predictive powers beyond any scope of imagination, who knows what someone's going to do before they do it.
Sure.
And yet punishes Adam and Eve for eating an apple that he put there and told them not to, even though he knew that they were going to do that. Is it truly free will if everything is preordained because he already knows what's going to happen?
Maybe in order to prove free will, you have to defy your creator.
You have to kill God to get free will.
Maybe committing free will is how you kill God. This conversation was much more intelligent than I expected. I don't know. Yeah, it's in the whole tree of life thing. I mean,
what justification
I would judge
does
it, but I know how ignorant I am
But
about it.
how can a creator punish his creation for doing something that they were built to do?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I always wondered that when my parents would yell at me and make me eat soap and stuff. No, my mom did that once, and then she got upset.
She was all mad. God dang it,
She
Hank,
did
where's
her-
all the soap? I need to take a shower. You ate it all.
Yeah. I was like, oh,
And she made you go like a baby bird mother regurgitated on her.
yeah, it's better than broccoli.
Get more in my hair.
Oh, that was her dispenser.
That got really weird.
It's fine. It's all right.
She pushed down to the top of your head and the soap came out.
Exactly. Yeah, squirted out of my mouth like.
And then when she was done, you had to like breathe on her to dry her off.
Exactly.
Dry
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. This is called improv training, everybody.
This is gold.
So okay, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we could go on and on about what the creation, whatever.
And
but
this is, confirmation here. Go for it.
that the control I printed. I like that you're testing me more.
Well, no, but you know this stuff.
I sort of do. The control unit I printed. He's learning that the control unit was him. He's figuring it out. He's piecing together what happened. He's saying, "Oh, the control unit was you. I didn't know what it was. I was up because he kind of." It's almost like he never did anything, but everything he did only exists in memory. So it's like he did do it, but he can only understand it in the form of like kind of trying to recount memories / dreams, dreams are like memories that never really happened.
But it also confirms something else, that it gives us a little bit of a timeline for when this happened. He says, you had me bring it to the cradle right before Dolores killed you.
Yes, and he confirms that, yeah. And I appreciate that they actually, I don't know if this is the first time, but the freaking characters are finally going, oh, wait a minute, before or after? Like, we could have done a little bit more of this kind of conversation.
Yeah, so the funny thing here, though, is that Hopkins and Dr. Ford is aware that Dolores killed him. Mm-hmm. And he says, basically, was it free will that she killed him? Because he says, I knew what she was going to do.
Right.
So was that truly free will, despite the fact that he says she's free now, and that it was her choice, technically? But is anything ever truly, really free will, then? I mean, that's a philosophical question I think this episode kind of wrestles with a little bit.
Well, isn't that what determinism is, basically? Like, just the notion that everything's kind of just... Everything that happens because that's how it's intended to happen, because of all it's all just a combination of factors that are contributing to it. But
but also,
what we can't assess all the factors. There's just too much nuance, and therefore that's like the child humming the concerto. We can't really capture it, but and so we call what we think free will, because that delusion serves us in the notion that we have to have some sense of agency over how our lives turn out. Otherwise, we'd all just kill ourselves at the age of 14 when we figure out that it's all fucking bullshit.
Oh, and
Go ahead.
This also proves that it was Ford's programming prior, his plan all along for this to happen, for him to be uploaded into the cradle, to start controlling things from beyond mortal realms.
Yes.
And he was also responsible for having Bernard kill everyone in that lab.
Oh, yeah.
To cover his tracks.
Yeah, that's right. So he's murdered a bunch of folks.
Yep.
So yeah, anyway, he indicates that they're going to go off and look for some stuff, right? I don't remember. I like that shot, though. This was actually, I don't know, something compelling about the way they framed this, the way the camera, was
It's weird, though.
dollied over across the bar.
I took it to be like a snapshot back to almost... It's weird to say a happier time, because they were being tortured and murdered, but they were blissfully ignorant to it.
Yes, this is like...
So they were
more
chained up than they ever were.
Right.
But they were happier. If
things were
before they got brutally murdered every single day.
I mean, that's the problem with making lifelike robots, is you start to care about them. We have pet rocks that we give a shit about. I mean, come on, we personalize or anthropomorphize everything. I was upset when my cactus died because it was shaped like a penis. It's on my Instagram. Check it out. But you know what I'm saying, though? Like, the point remains, that was a dangerous object. I didn't have any love for that cactus. I'd wake up every morning and be stuck to my chest, poking in deep. But yes, I don't know if I'd say that a happier time. I'm not saying it to disagree, but I get what you're saying.
It's a weird thing to say. But,
Yeah, well, it's like if the Chuck E. Cheese band all of a sudden woke up and started a revolution. Maybe things were a little bit simpler when you were just playing the tunes for drunk 8-year-olds. So yeah, Sweetwater, there it is. Look at all that. Nice little area, huh? Okay, so he's walking around. We got all the troops. This is, a lot of old memories here, but Ford really took off. He got there before him. Just enough time to wait at the thing. You're a clever man, but
you go back, you can see one of the horses from the Ghost Nation.
Oh, yeah, kind of, isn't it?
Gets the paint on.
Could be. Is he painted, or is he just?
No, I think the rest of his face is just in shadow. I think he's a white horse overall, but it creates the impression that his face is painted white.
A little bit, yeah. It's just like, he's got a black mane on his hair, kind of like Keanu Reeves, star of John Wick. Sorry, Prison Break or Point Break. Fuck.
So this is one of the most pivotal moments of the episode right here, where Ford finally explains to him, and he doesn't really explain to him, he uses sort of like the Socratic method on Bernard to get Bernard to infer what the hosts, not what the hosts really are, but what the hosts really are for, and what the park really is for. And he starts it all with the question, why have the host stories not changed in 30 years?
Yes.
Go.
Me go? What, you're doing the same thing to me that he's doing to Bernard.
No,
right?
I'm talking too much, so I want to share it with you.
You should be talking because you can explain it. I can comment, you can explain. That's how this system works.
Okay. If I'm talking too much, tell me to shut up and get yourself
No,
done.
not at all. But I'm not trying to put all the workload on you, by the way. I hope this is a partnership that doesn't ebb and flow, like all good relationships, like Laurel and Hardy. You know what I'm saying?
So initially, Bernard says that I always assumed naturally that the 30-year narrative was to keep them centered, to have a fidelity test in them, to make sure that they could maintain themselves in a consistent manner.
The loops were for them, he said.
Yes, but he started walking around and noodling it out in his head, and he's like, wait a minute, no, this is a big experiment. Their narratives never change because they're the control units. The guests are the variables. We're not studying the host and trying to make the hosts more human. We're studying humans to try and make the humans into hosts. He was like, oh my god!
Yes.
Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel.
Well, I remembered all that shit. I thought you were trying to really bore down into the granular details.
No, I'm just go granular, go.
Well, I can't. That's why I didn't.
Dig in.
Why would I? I can't. I don't. Yeah. All right. Fine. Jesus. We're getting a little too self-aware. I think that's our problem here. This guy wearing Timberlands? No.
And we should mention also he snapped his finger. Everyone is frozen.
Yes.
Which is why they're not moving.
I was going to point that out. Yeah. But yeah. So now Bernard's wandering around, going like, "Oh man, this is good." You know, wow, they're all standing still. The hair and the clothes is still waving around a little bit.
Yeah.
The host so Bernard, this is Bernard doing this exposition. This is my favorite scene of the entire season because I finally understood something. When guests come to the park, this is what you explained. They don't know they're being watched. We get to see their true self. So they're all data. They're all just variables.
Yeah.
It's almost like Ford knew that he's trying to simulate humanity. Well, where do you get humanity? By studying them. How do you study them? You make them feel like they're not being watched, although you're an idiot if you don't think you're being watched.
So question for you.
Yeah.
When he says that we're watching their every choice to find out what they would do, reveals their cognition and all that kind of stuff, but we're doing it so that we can copy them. So when he says so we can copy them, do you think he means that we are basically studying what makes them human and copying their general human behavioral traits for our own data? Or do you think he's literally saying so we can copy this individual? This unique person to reprint them and send them out for our own purposes?
Could it be both? I mean, because one of them is the selling immortality, sort of.
Because we know from a previous episode, they're not just collecting data on their behavioral choices. They were swabbing a man who had intercourse with another man or another woman guest and taking the DNA. Why would they need the DNA if what they were saying about copying people only went so far as to the behavioral side?
Well, they're using DNA. I mean, it's plausible that a copy would require DNA, or at least maybe they can get to it faster.
I think it kind of means both.
DNA is a lot of information. Of course, they're going to want the DNA. That would be like the first thing I'd go for.
That would kind of reveal why there's a crap ton of data inside Peter Abernathy's head. It perhaps is the DNA, the minds and the behavioral patterns of all of the guests that have come through.
But copying them in order to not sell immortality, just to send them off on nefarious things, whatever.
That part's not clear to me.
Well, just think from a financial incentive sort of thing. Immortality is a lot more valuable than blackmail in this setting. I would assume. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you're not really. You're opening up legal risks if you're doing criminal stuff.
So they're basically
that alone is a reason not to do it.
They're learning how to do it so they can then sell it as a product.
I think that's it, but also in order to create these inner worlds, the San Junipero thing that you keep mentioning, and maybe that's the service, that maybe it's both, and maybe they just need to prove it works reliably enough to offer this.
If that were the case, though, why couldn't they just exist as some sort of standalone scientific research facility where they just bring people in and try them as test subjects who are willing test subjects? Why do they need to pull the wool over people's eyes? Why does there need to be the degree of deception to it. Because they believe that if someone does not believe that they're being watched, if they truly have free will and they're existing in the society, they will be their true selves and they'll see a true picture of them, as opposed to someone who knows they're being watched in a lab setting. I think I just answered my own question for myself.
Well, kind of. I mean, you can imagine the progression from let's make robots to, oh, let's make robots that are conscious. Oh, let's make robots, now that we understand consciousness, let's understand real consciousness, like human people. How do we do that? We have to study them, and let's try to build humans that are impossible to tell it. Like, I could see how that would evolve, or the progression, I guess, is the word. And I had a thought that was not, damn it. And I totally lost my train of thought. So sorry.
Because
sorry, guys.
Dolores ran it into the mesa.
Ran what into the mesa?
Your train of
thought.
Oh, that
my train of bombs, or just the train, really. Yeah, but just so Bernard's walking around, kind of piecing it all together, and it's just very. I just really appreciated that they were finally giving us some fairly concrete answers.
I wish they just cut back to Ford after Bernard was done, and Ford was like, no duh.
No what?
No duh.
Oh, duh.
It took you this long? Now he has a southern twang.
Gives an Olsen twin. Duh.
Yeah. Oh, my Lanta.
Hello, this is my dog, Dave Coulier.
Cut it out.
Pick up poop. Every piece of information in the world has been copied. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is an interesting thing when he said this, because he's saying the brain is the last analog device in the world.
The last analog device in the digital world.
Oh, in a digital world. Yeah. There you go. Which is kind of like saying it's hard to figure out, right? Like we've solved every other puzzle, but this brain is still a puzzle that we're trying to figure out. And he's sort of like the Gary Kasparov of solving brain puzzles.
Yep.
Yeah,
sure. I like it.
Or that New York Times guy, Will something.
Will Sasso.
Yeah, thank you. We weren't the code hosts. We weren't here to code. This shot.
We weren't the code hosts.
Close enough. We weren't here to code the hosts.
I like that you saw he was wearing a coat. Like,
yeah,
he's the host. He's not the code host.
I'm just disappointed there's no parasols in this scene. Bonnet. So yeah, this is a huge. I think these two screenshots are. Penultimate titular. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of confirms what a lot of people were saying from the very beginning, because from the original Westworld, that was kind of what they were doing.
Right.
So it wasn't. It wasn't a huge reveal. It was like, okay, sure, they're going the way they thought they were going to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's confirmation, and I was happy with it.
Yeah. Oh, I think I remember what I was going to say, unless I already said this. They are increasing their sample size. Did I already say that? My memory just popped up a chunk of the file that I thought I lost.
The sample size being why they do it as an amusement park?
First they were like, oh, we're going to make my wife, Dolores, and then, let's make my buddy Arnold. But in order to study all humanity, you got to bring them in and do that. Oh, I remember what I was
when you
say.
said wife Dolores, though, that was my pet theory. That has not by any means been proven yet.
Yeah, well, I'm going to write a Reddit post, and that will make it true.
I think this episode actually disproves it.
Not according to Reddit. I did remember the Facebook did something similar to this, and in a way they're comparable to Westworld, sort of. They run a simulated world where you get to interact and you behave in a certain way, although I wouldn't say anybody's actually accurate or authentic on Facebook. Not that everybody's faking it either, but you sort of adapt to the constraints of the platform, I guess is what I'm saying. But I heard might have been This American Life or Radiolab, but Facebook was doing like social research by changing factors to study, and these were like highly paid research scientists working for Facebook, and they were like months and months into this, and they were doing new experiments, and then they realized, or they got in trouble, that it's super unethical. It's very unethical to have to study people that don't know they're being studied. So they didn't have consent from everybody, and they had to shut down that stuff. But I imagine there's certain ways where they can legally do that without it being unethical or something, because there's corporations can pretty much do whatever the fuck they want. But that is an analog to what's going on with what these guys are up to, because they monetize that data. In this case, they're going to monetize it by reprinting your consciousness in a simulated world.
Yeah, so basically it boils down to the two sentences you're talking about. Well, we're not here to code the host, we're here to decode the guests.
This should be a GIF. Should I make a GIF, James?
Sure.
Oh, fuck it up. Look at these two guys. This is like
I like that everyone else is frozen.
I know. I like
it makes it so much better.
Well, the funny part is that Dr. Ford's head moves too. Oh, come on, Hank.
Well, it makes sense though, because they're the only ones moving.
I know, but they look like two birds about to mate or fight. You can't really tell with birds. Humans are playing that he's revealing all this great information.
They don't want you to become them. They want to become
you. So it's all this big flip around. It's actually, no, we're not. Yeah. What did you think about all this, though?
I mean, all of this was kind of obvious from the past couple episodes with the home James Delos thing and everything. So we knew this was where it was going, but to have Ford himself confirm it is basically saying, okay, this is it. There's no more twists and turns to what the true motivations are. as of yet. There
Yeah.
always could be, but now we have a much more solid foundation that is no longer speculation. It's straight from the horse's mouth itself.
Straight from the Dr. Horse's mouth.
Yes.
This is where that you referred to where you talking about Dolores. I knew what she would do. I didn't compel it.
Yes,
About her
but
killing him.
still he knew. So was it truly free will if he knew what she was going to do, if he put her in that situation, but didn't force her?
Well, I mean, it kind of says what's the nature of manipulation. I mean, compelling somebody.
Parasol.
You could. Oh, motherfucker! God damn it! You know, manipulating somebody or persuading them or creating conditions in which a more likely behavior is to occur versus less likely to occur. So I don't know. It's hard to do. I think you got to really have a true, deep understanding of human nature. Like when I throw a ball for a dog, he usually chases after it, unless he's a boring dog.
Yeah. I mean, if I dump
But boring dogs deserve love too.
if I dump the trash can over before I leave for work in the morning, and I come home and see it picked up, I'll be like, I knew you would do that. That was not free will, Hank. I made you do that.
I would deserve that too. Great. Now I know what I'm going to be doing in the morning, picking up my own garbage off the ground.
Most of it's mine today.
It's okay. We both have, you know, yeah.
She's free now.
Yeah. And he snaps his fingers and he goes, "Oh no, you didn't."
I would make a reference to a recent movie, which is perfect for that particular scene, but I can't because you haven't seen it yet. God darn
A
it.
Million Ways to Die in the West. I saw it.
Sure. No.
Fell asleep in the first 2 minutes. Yeah.
People in the comments know
this
what I'm
guy's
talking
going to
about.
play yoga. Or not play yoga, do yoga. You don't play it.
Release the snapping fingers.
Yes. So, but Bernard's like, oh yeah, well you killed a bunch of people. You know, you're responsible for all this pain and suffering, all just so that you could cheat death, like here, right? Whose project is he talking about?
Well, he's basically saying that the whole Delos' project doesn't work because he can't exist outside of here in a stable way. He said if I were to go outside of this universe, outside of this digital construct into a physical body, I would start degrading within a couple of days.
Like Delos did.
Yes.
Or
He's
Delos.
saying that that the project failed in that respect, that he can only exist and control things from behind the veil of a digital curtain.
Yeah, which is very intriguing. It's kind of like there was a YouTube comment. I don't remember the comment, but I remember my response. Fuck, what a narcissist! And it was about how the mind works outside without the body. Why not just run beta test? Why not just like kind of beta test everybody separately? And my answer was, well, maybe it needs the whole network of the body because there's all kind of the nervous system. Everything is kind of dialed in.
And we need to find that comment
with other inputs and comparable to this. Like it's almost like Westworld is his body. His mind requires this setting in order to function properly.
I think we do need to find that comment and give that person huge props because this episode confirms that that is exactly what they were doing.
With the Bernards or with the Delos?
Remember
with
in the last episode we were kind of confounded asking why the two scenes, like this world and the interview between Bernard or Arnold and Dolores, that whole reversal thing, we know it was Bernard now, why that was letterboxed as well. And he says we ran it later in the episode. It reveals that he was running it in this simulation in the cradle. It was all going on inside there. He said, I wanted to make sure your fidelity was correct before we moved you into a physical body. I didn't want to just bring you out into the world until I knew that you were as close to Arnold as possible.
Yeah. That's
that guy was dead on the money.
Totally. Yeah, we got to get that guy and give him a big old kiss. Look, parasol, James, and another parasol. Also, pair of pillows. Gotcha.
Pair of pillows.
Totally won that one.
I really like that.
Another pair of pillows. same pillows. And I want to make good on that promise. So he's saying he made a promise to somebody, to Arnold, probably, right? I don't know. You tell me. Why would I know? I just watched it.
I'm struggling to see the promise of what. Thank you, to Bernard. What was the promise?
The hosts are all headed. So I don't take every single screenshot. I explain that, but I just can't.
So Bernard is basically saying, what is the end of the story? And he says, the fun of a story is to discover the ending for yourself.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
So what we know at this point, and we find out more to this by the end. We basically, by the end of the episode, I'm kind of going out of sequence here, but by the end of the episode, we find out that Bernard gets hijacked by Ford from being in the cradle.
Yeah.
And Ford is basically riding him like a human go-kart in a sense.
Okay.
And we know that from that flash forward or that flash back, actually, this timeline is confusing.
Yeah.
When
Flash somewhere.
When Bernard was looking over at the valley beyond and all the bodies floating and the dead Teddy and everything, and he says, I killed them.
Yeah.
He was doing something which we now know was at the hand of Ford.
Right.
But when did that happen in the timeline? Was that in the future? It had to be in the future.
You mean when did he get them to walk into the water or to all go to the water?
Yes.
Because
at the time
during the 2-week period, right?
Because at the time that Bernard was revealed to have all those copies with Charlotte Hale in the most recent timeline, Ford was already within him. Ford had already hijacked and was a passenger in him.
Yes, yeah, right.
So we can infer that event happened. Well, actually, we don't know when he made him do it, though.
Ford was a passenger? You're talking about the soul ball that was in his pocket?
No, the passenger, as in when we get to the end of the scene, we find out that when Bernard reemerges from the cradle, Ford has taken his free will back away from him.
Oh, really?
So
in this moment here, when he comes...
This stops here, and then it picks up later on. I'm going out of sequence a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine. But you're saying after this moment.
Yes, after he emerges from the cradle, he is no longer fully in control. His free will has been taken back by Ford. Ford's basically saying, I'm at the controls now. You do what you want, but as soon as I need something done, I'm jumping behind the wheel. I'm going to make you do what I need you to do.
Yeah, like what we do with Jesus. Let him take the wheel.
Yeah.
He's a very good driver. He's only been in 4 accidents, 2 DUIs, but that's better than average.
So is this the black intermission? Because I can go grab a Coke.
Oh, yeah, go get it. Yeah. All right, so then we enter Maeve Town. So we have a bunch of dudes on horses running. Rawr, hi-ya. Oh, James, hi-ya, that's how you spell it.
Yes.
I always thought it was H-E-Y.
This is actually the Men in Black.
That is the Men in Black. Yeah, but we're entering the Maeve storyline is what I was saying. Okay. They're being chased into this kind of abandoned, run-out, beat-up-ass old town.
Into the homestead area.
Into the homestead area. Windmill up there, and there's Maeve detecting what's going on, and she runs off with her daughter going, let's go, hurry up.
The last time we saw her,
they were being chased.
Yes, but the thing that was a little confusing for me at this point, though, was that they were being chased, but their posse was up on the hill looking down at them, coming to help.
Well, they were shooting. They were in a fight, weren't they? The posse
they were fighting, but they were relatively close to her.
Yeah, they were within, running distance.
So where are they during all this?
That's a good question. A very good question. I don't know. I have no idea. So anyway, Ed Harris tells his guys to split up. We'll cut them down on the crossfire. So he's got a plan, but he's looking for the Indians, right? The Ghost Nation. He's not looking for Maeve.
Oh, running from them, they got split up.
Oh, okay, running. Well, he's fighting them, and so he's strategizing about that. So he's not even necessarily looking for Maeve, but she. Is this her old house? This is not her. Is this the same house?
I believe it is.
Really? Because I don't recall her being in a complex.
No, not this particular house, but this is her original homestead area. She's literally 2 minutes by foot away from her original house.
Right, so this is like a neighbor's house, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Man, a lot of flammable material in here, including a bunch of lamps. That's not smart.
Or this may not be her house, but this could very well be the house that she gets killed in every single time because she runs from them, and when she sees the Man in Black coming, she has flashbacks of that very same window.
Good.
So it's very plausible.
Yeah, way to put it together. Yeah, real smart. You dug in a little deeper and you figured it out. So she's like, "Oh, Mom, what's gonna happen?" Or she doesn't call her Mom, but she's like, "Oh,
what happens if they take me away?"
I'll come get you
because I made a promise.
Yeah, so she promised, but it's sort of tragic. She can't express who she is. She can't say, "I'm your mom, love me, give me, let's touch each other." She has to be like, "Don't worry, kid, I'll look out for you." Like if you found a kid at the grocery store and you're just helping out.
And she's not willing to reprogram her in order to get what she wants.
Yeah, nor does she have the ability.
No, of course she does.
Right here she does?
Yeah.
Doesn't she need an iPad?
She can issue mental commands to people who are still unfree. If someone is off the network, if they are free, have achieved consciousness, have completed the maze, she can't affect them if they're off the grid. But this child clearly has not transcended that barrier. She could.
Love me. You are not.
You
are my daughter.
It wouldn't be true. It wouldn't be genuine. And I think she realizes that. She's more keen to free will at this point. But sure, she'll have a guy turn a gun or a sword on his partner or himself if it means a life or death.
Right.
But she's not going to do that to someone who actually matters to her. Unlike Dolores.
Unlikely, unless she gets angry. Well, maybe that's how she grounds her when she, doesn't text that she's going to be late or something.
It's like how your mom made you eat soap.
Yeah, exactly. And then she grounds her by just mentally turning her brain off. She's mentally getting
you into a
stand in the corner, you little
sudsy slumber.
That's a very powerful thing to have over somebody, and maybe it's good that she exercises some discretion. So now this is all sort of reminiscent of the time she was hiding. So maybe you're right. This was the same spot. Could be. But we're seeing people walk by. In the original version, we've seen the Ghost Nation guy walks by the window and it becomes Ed Harris in a shot similar to this.
Yes, this has happened multiple times. Sometimes it was Ghost Nation. Some other times it was Ed Harris.
Yeah. Yeah, and this time, this is like actually a flashback. You can see the difference.
Yeah, she has a gun. Yeah,
the saturation level, and she's got a gun.
And she's got some white stuff in her throat.
Yeah, what do you think that's dust from the outside?
Well, it could be maybe when she was running, maybe one of the Ghost Nation guys grabbed her by the throat and got some of their paint on her.
Yeah, or someone threw flour at her, which wouldn't be a very nice thing to do. Anyway, Ed Harris, he's surprised by her though. She gets his attention. He goes, "Oh, whoa!"
Right, because he's not there to kill her as he was for recreation purpose back when he was in the park as a guest.
Yeah.
He's there to hide from the Ghost Nation to ambush them.
Right. Yeah. Oh, sorry. This is a flashback moment. This is where he recognizes her, and she gets up. Now I wonder.
But the funny thing is what does he say? When he sees her, he goes, "Oh, come on, this is too obvious. This is sloppy, Ford."
Yeah.
Again, even with his own daughter, he thought Ford was kind of pulling the strings, and he's smart to think that. Yes. Because he's actually right. Ford is the ghost in the machine right now, just not in this particular case.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's crazy. But okay, my question is, she saw him coming. She saw him walk past the window. She's very strong. She did a bunch of samurai maneuvers. She has power. She's not. She's Keanu Reeves. She's the Matrix. She's Neo. Why not get up on that door, wait for him to walk in, and do something about it? Don't just stand there and wait for him to come inside, cowering. I mean, maybe she was reverting to her old self in that moment, so maybe that's how you'd explain it. But no, you wait for him. You hide. You put the daughter in a corner, throw a blanket on her head or her whole body, then you stand by the door and you bonk him in the head with a frying pan.
Yeah, I mean, I can
or
see
even
that.
something more
or just
violent.
Put your fist through his chest.
Yes, because you have robot power.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. Anyway, so they needed him to not be dead, though, so that's okay. Speaking of that, though, she decided, oh, yeah, buddy, well, I'm not actually what you think. I can kill you. So she starts shooting him.
Anything to protect her child at this point.
Yes. And she's very upset about the missing drawer. My drawers. Singular, I guess. Ooh, ouch! Ed Harris takes one in the arm. He's already been shot before. This is the second time getting shot.
And the reason that drawer is gone because he actually sent it back to his house as a souvenir from the last time he killed Maeve. He shipped his drawers.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
That was an old commercial.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, where people came in, when people was basically saying...
I was just laughing out of politeness.
Well, no, this place basically said, okay, we'll deliver clothes now. And all these people were saying, I shipped my drawers last week. I shipped my pants. And then a person was like, they delivered their bed. He goes, last night I shipped my bed.
Wow. This must have been a regional commercial. I don't really have any recollection.
It was great.
You're not. Yeah, I can go into some of the Northern Illinois, Chicago area 1980s and 90s commercials that everybody wants.
This is actually a pretty recent one, last year.
Oh, okay.
And it was national.
Right. Fair enough. All right. Well, speaking of national, we're shooting Ed Harris in his body. So does she hit him a second time here? I know he gets...
Typically he gets hit in the shoulder because in the realm of TV and movies, a shoulder wound is something you can recover from in the span of, say, an episode or two.
You could be punching dudes in a
a shoulder wound, a dislocated shoulder or something like that, a shot in the shoulder is nothing.
Yeah.
In reality, it can kill you. It will take you down.
Shoot me in the leg and I'll be walking to work tomorrow.
But in the realm of these kind of shows, even something as nuanced and as complex and as well done as Westworld, they kind of follow that trope.
Like most movies should be like 10 minutes of setup and like whatever's going on, and then a guy gets punched in the face, and then it should be like 90 minutes of being like, God, I got fucking punched in the face. Now I have a headache. I gotta take a call. I gotta go see an ear guy. Who knew your ear could? That's what all movies should be. Just be like, oh, it hurts so much. My occipital cavity.
You get addicted to pain medicine afterwards. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's sounds like a great movie. So anyways, she's terrified, and it's all fucking crazy. Look at this weird, ugly doll here.
Oh, yeah.
Not that they had good, they didn't have doll making technology that we have these days, James. So we're very blessed. So she chases him off. Okay, let's have this conversation right now.
So we can play even this.
Why is her aim so bad? Come on, why the fuck is her aim so bad? She should be able to hit him every single time. And here, now let me hit him once. She pulled the trigger more than once.
Well, maybe she was trying to scare him the first one.
No,
maybe she doesn't really want him dead. No, actually, she does kind of want him dead.
I mean, I am entertaining.
She does a lot. She goes through extreme lengths to try and make him dead.
Yes, it's not even about this specific moment. It's why would a host have bad aim?
Because you would not have an episode otherwise. You would not have the tension. You would not have the narrative. It makes no sense. It's a suspension of disbelief. There's no logic to it. I agree. It's bullcrap. It's stupid. But you understand why they have to do that.
Of course. Absolutely. Actually, you came way closer to agreeing to that than I expected, because I can actually think of another explanation, is that they're flesh made. They may have similar motor variances that you and us humans have that caused the aim. Because shooting a gun, I've shot pistols. I'm bad. I'm good with a shotgun, but I couldn't hit shit with a pistol.
We know she's turned all of her sliders up to max, right? Because she had full control over it.
Yeah.
We've seen what people with their gunslinging skills turned up to max can do. Case in point, Teddy.
Right.
Teddy doesn't miss.
No.
Because he does things in the context of a close quarters battle with guards.
Yeah.
Where the guards are nameless, faceless opponents. It doesn't matter if he kills them outright.
Of course.
For the purpose of a narrative, they have to kind of fudge disbelief here. She could easily kill him in a second if she wanted to, but they can't let her do that because they have to draw it out because the character is too important to have that happen.
Yeah.
Just like he's a nameless, faceless security guard.
I understand that part. Yeah, like it's a Star Wars blaster rifle thing, except the incentive to make an accurate blaster rifle, by that point, we have self-driving cars. You think they're not going to have a little thing on the end of your rifle that does all the aiming for you?
Yeah.
You don't have a gun. You just have a thing that just goes and it hits everything. So technology is very precise, and if we're advancing far into the future, aiming is going to be extremely simple. I imagine we already have stuff that's comparable to what I'm describing. Speaking of just Ed Harris, he gets away and he sneaks around in the back. He's going around the side. I was thinking about this, James. You see his shadow. Now he would give his position away if the configuration of the sun and the angle were different. You know, in this kind of situation, you should be aware of where your shadow is.
Yes, and then Ford's thinks, and I shall change that. And he's like, God dang it, Ford!
Ford's got like video game settings.
He looks up at the sun and it's like the Teletubbies, but it's Ford's face in the sun.
The little baby.
Like,
hello. Is it already time for Jeopardy? Oh boy, it's almost time for bed. All right, so anyway, Maeve goes into command mode. She runs Windows PowerShell here. She's gone deep into the code, and she makes the other guys around turn into assassins. And
who also only have the power to shoot in legs and shoulders.
Yes, no torso shots here. So he misses and gets them. He could have dodged behind this perfect little
wicker chair.
His wicker chair, or poop strainer if you really wanted. Maybe you have to get your wedding ring back or something. Nope. Ed Harris fights back. Take that, random jerk. And so he goes down and look at that gun. It looks kind of heavy, huh? He goes, oh no. So now he's realizing, I'm getting shot. This is crazy. What the heck? Everybody's getting me.
He's like, I gotta go bust open a wall and find some chicken. Get some health back.
I need a spinning turkey to recover 40 HP. And then another guy Maeve has control of, and he comes in and is just blasting away. He gets him again in the leg. Yep. Another recoverable leg wound, of course.
Yes.
Ow! So he's, this guy is a pretty tough-looking fellow there, huh? He's got the gun.
The question begs itself, though, is these guys have clear open shots, and Maeve is controlling them directly. Mm-hmm. Does she says, I don't care how you die, just that you do die.
Okay.
But does she really want him dead?
Why would she want him alive? Has she been murdering any humans, or is she only killing hosts? Meaning, like, maybe I don't know. I think she should kill him.
When she and Hector were escaping toward the train in the end of season 1, they were killing a heck of a lot of people.
Yeah.
People, not hosts.
Oh yeah, all the guards, all the goons.
Yeah. So she has had her fair share of bloodshed.
So the only, maybe she knows who he is, and therefore she is
it's
only
like she's
winging
toying
him.
with him.
Could be, maybe. Yeah, or they just don't want to kill Ed Harris. Yeah. By the way, there's a deleted scene from Apollo 13 where this exact scene plays out. So yeah, he's going, and she walks up. Maeve walks up, and she hides behind this windmill thing. Which is that her right there? I think.
Yeah.
They have a little bit of a back and forth. Like, all right, Ford. He still thinks.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's as long as I can watch that you were saying. And then the guy shows up, and he's he's wounded, but he's still fighting, and they have a nice little wrestling match. We get a big knife out, just a little good old fella beat down here.
William does his stabbing thing.
Yep, does the big deep knife wound, and of course Maeve steps in to stop it, but no, it isn't meant to be. It turns out the Lawrence has arrived. Ed Harris's buddy, who maybe shouldn't be his buddy. I don't know. So anyway, Maeve tries to pull a little move on him with her Obi-Wan Kenobi trick here. This is not the droid you're looking for, she tells him. Turn on your master. And so he starts doing sexy dancing. And
right, but he basically mocks her.
Am I turning you on, James?
No.
I'm wiggling my chest back and forth.
But he mocks and he goes, hey.
Yeah. Also,
so master, how's it going?
Isn't it kind of weird that my head looks like a circle? Does it?
No.
His head looks like a circle.
No. But we find out
more of a balloon shape.
That he's essentially a cheap consciousness. He has completed his maze. He is not controllable by her. She cannot influence him.
Right, yeah. So
so she influences him with a little psychology.
Some good old-fashioned persuasion.
Yep.
By making sure that he remembers what he did to him. And Ed Harris tortured his family over and over. And there was actually a clue there where Ed Harris says, "I didn't do it this time," or something.
Yeah,
like
that was bad. It was poor choice of words.
Poor choice of words, because Lazo goes this time, and which indicates it's happening over.
Well,
and over.
he's not El Lazo in this point, but I see Lawrence.
How dare you? So he's remembering. This is him going, "Oh yeah, this lady's making a good point here. Maybe I shouldn't murder the innocent woman, instead murder the man who's killed my wife and my daughter." Look at him; he's all angry and stuff. You shot down my wife. I saved your wife. Most recently, he did do that. So Ed Harris thinks he deserves credit for it. What do you think? Should Lazo let Ed Harris live or die?
I think Lawrence should.
Would you let this man live? What if that was me, James? Right over here. What if this was me?
Oh, I'd just go and pay him. I'm kidding.
You pay? Yeah. All right. Pay me to leave. Pay me for what?
No. Pay him.
Pay who?
Because I would hire him to do it.
Oh, pay Ed Harris.
Yes.
Oh, I thought
that was the bad joke.
When you said him, I thought you meant me, because I'm dumb.
Pay you to die?
I don't know.
That would make no sense.
Didn't make it. I know it. Yeah. Nothing. Most things.
I like that he has is that a little keychain or something so he can keep it
this
on
guy
the bottom
here?
of his gun?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's on that little string.
That'd be funny. Yeah, funny if there was a bunch of keys dangling off the bottom of it.
Maybe it's a glove. Sometimes gloves hook together with like a little clip or something. I don't know, because it looks like it's kind of. I don't know. Yeah, what is that? Anyway, she's terrified. She's got a crucifix. Yeah. Oh, look. Great screenshot. So he takes her.
He does it. Yep.
That's the way that you describe taking it. Like I say, I'm going to take this deer, which is weird. I don't know. It's always not that we need to get into the hunting discussion again. Oh no! Look, this is me when I find out McDonald's stopped serving breakfast. No, they do it all day now.
Fine, I'll have the double cheeseburger.
Yeah, all right, fine, okay.
Fillet of fish.
You fillet of fish. Can you throw it in the water first? I don't know. Gunshot echoes. So yeah, this is actually Los Angeles. Just gunshots everywhere. Actually, I don't know if it's that bad. I think I've heard things that probably are gunshots, but it's easy to be like, it could have been.
Yeah, fireworks, car backfires, things like
that.
that.
Board. Yeah.
There have been some shootings in our area that,
Yeah, the grocery store was on lockdown for a while. That was fun. So all right, you told me a man ain't real. Yeah, so this whole thing about suffering in order to earn your consciousness. Thing, I'm not sure I should buy that, but
Lawrence has clearly achieved consciousness, so he's suffered enough. He knows.
Yes, yeah. He nails him a couple times there. I like this.
Gets him right in the chest.
Yeah,
that's not a place you want to get shot if you want to be a character who's going to make it.
No, definitely not. Look at that.
So this is not good. And by the time the scene ends, it's not explicitly clear that he's already dead, because we know he's not, but we don't know if he's going to be rescued, if he's going to be saved. The welcome wagon, the cavalry, is not exactly on its way.
Yeah. This is me sleeping outside McDonald's waiting for him to open. I don't even like McDonald's. McDonald's is so fucking gross. I do eat it occasionally, but it's just come on. Oh, Maeve, what a great photo, great screenshot.
Yeah, there's your thumbnail.
We gotta do the boobs.
Oh, come on,
it's so cheap. I know.
But look where you got shot. I mean, does he have like a Bitcoin there or something that's going to protect him? Are they going to pull one of those like cheap moves where I had my alcohol flask right there,
or my Bible?
Yeah. But it appears as though there's blood welling up there. It looks like it's a flesh hit.
Yeah, you popped my bag of blood. I was bringing this to the hospital. Yeah, no, he's obviously hit in the chest. That's a bad spot. It's a little low, I guess. Maybe that's survivable. The heart would be right around there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, still in a place you want to be hit.
Bad spot, yeah. Plus, he's got one right in the middle of the leg, so if he hits your bone, you're in even worse shape. And but he's been shot 4 times, right? Once shoulder.
I think both shoulders and the leg.
Yeah, so
and then of course the chest.
Things are not doing real great for him today. So, that real enough for you, bitch? So, yeah, I thought it was going to cap him again.
I thought so, too.
For a second. And then, but he gets shot.
And I really like Lawrence as a character, so this kind of bummed me out a bit.
Yeah, I'm going to miss the Lawrence. It's sad. So, anyway, he's gone. And it's because the cavalry has showed up. Yep. The fellas in the dune buggy are here blasting away.
Did you get when I said that the welcome wagon, the cavalry's not on the way?
When did you say that recently?
As a misdirection, and then they were on the way because they show up immediately afterwards.
Oh, okay. No, I tuned out probably. By the way, look at the evolution of the car. Here's the original, and look how far.
Now if they were like coming with donkeys pulling that, shooting. That would be funny.
And then you turn into a robot who can do even more things, control the world with her mind.
Trivia time. Why are they there?
Oh, fuck. They're there. These are Floki's guys who work for the corporation. They're there to... they think the daughter might be Peter Abernathy. I don't know. They're looking to protect Ed Harris. Why are they there? I don't know.
Last episode, Lee Sizemore was with them. He used his cell phone to call for help. That's how they knew exactly where they were.
Oh, yeah. All right. Man, I never would have figured that out. Okay. Maybe if I watched them in sequence or something. But, all right, so the little girl, she's standing there, and she's going, oh, shit, I got to get out of here. So she starts running and
I think
stuff.
all of us were worried here that she was going to be taken down in a hail of gunfire.
That would have been a little tough to watch, I think. Yeah, that would have been hard. She does get away, and Maeve is screaming, no, no,
But it's like a slow motion. No!
Yeah.
So you're expecting the worst.
It does feel like the worst is on its way. You know, so far the show has murdered one child graphically, and it happened to be a robot, so that's a little bit better, but I don't want to see another kid get killed. That's no fun. But the Ghost Nation shows up, and they come charging in, and they grab her and carry her off.
Feel a bit better, because, the Ghost Nation, we don't know exactly who's controlling, who's pulling the strings on them. They tend to be protecting humans. Mm-hmm. But she's not a human, she's a host. So we don't really know what's going on there, but we get the impression that perhaps Ford is pulling the strings there.
It seems to be one of the leading theories, and I would probably bet on that theory. And yes, obviously this is scary. Maeve doesn't want it, no one wants to see this happen to their kid, but this is a better outcome than the soldiers shooting the daughter with a bunch of bullets.
There's still hope of salvation, of rescue at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not the sense of finality to it is not... death.
Because she's not had her head blown off.
Yeah.
But speaking of head blown off, Maeve gets shot in the chest, and we have blood squirting out. That's bad. She's ouch.
She was impregnated by an alien, and it's a chest burster.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. They'll get scared.
No, I mean, this is pretty major, because think of it, in the span of about 5 minutes, we've seen two major characters take mortal wounds. Ed Harris's character, and now
Maeve.
Yeah. What's her real name?
Thandi Newton's character.
Newton, yes.
Yeah. The woman in charge. Man in Black, woman in charge.
What is the most famous movie out right now that she's also in?
Probably
she's on the poster for it. But if I tell you what it is, you'd be like, I didn't know she was in that. That's a spoiler.
Yeah, it is a spoiler.
No, if it's on the poster, it's
information you don't know that is told to you before you see the movie is a spoiler. Sorry, I have an accurate and clear definition.
I'll give you an accurate and clear definition of what a spoiler is. A spoiler is information that the people who create the content do not generally want the public to know prior to the consumption of that particular piece of information, that particular work, which is instrumental in revealing key plot information. So when I say something from a movie, like if I say something like what I said the last week, if I've seen a movie, I know enough about that movie, I have insight into that movie that you don't have because you haven't seen it, and I know explicitly what is and is not pivotal to the plot line. So by saying that something's a spoiler when you haven't seen it and you're accusing me of spoiling it, that's incredibly insulting to me, because you're basically telling me that I don't understand the plot in the movie well enough to not know to tell you something that's explicitly core to the plot.
Well, so you're making it sound like it's some personal thing.
It's very insulting when you say something like that.
It is?
Incredibly.
Why?
Because you're essentially saying,
that's nonsense.
I don't trust you to know to hold back information that's going to spoil something for me. So simply telling you that someone is in a movie when their face is on the poster and saying that's a spoiler is total nonsense.
I don't think it's an insulting thing to the person you're talking to.
It's incredibly... You're basically saying...
Not at all. That's bullshit.
It's saying, I do not trust you to know enough about the plot to make sure that you don't reveal something, pivotal.
Not at all.
It
I don't know
totally
what the fuck
is.
you're talking about.
Totally insulting.
Did somebody turn up your kook meter? That's bullshit.
No.
We can have a civil discussion about whether or not, if the concept of if I say, reading, I don't want to read sentences from chapter 18 of a book, that's why I don't like to learn things about a show or a movie before I see it. That doesn't mean I'm insulting you because I think that that's a thing. I didn't say anything about what you did.
By telling someone that you have said a spoiler, when you yourself have not even seen the movie to know whether or not that is a spoiler, is basically saying, I know more about this than you do, and I haven't even seen it.
No. Yeah. No, that's a complete misread of the conversation we had. You were recording this, and other people are listening. No, you said that if you say who she is on the poster, and I don't know that this person's in the movie, and in the context of what I know, that's how I define a spoiler.
See, the world does not revolve around everything what you know. A spoiler is something that gives away a plot point of a movie that the person who made the movie does not want the public to know. If they put it on the poster, I can pretty surely say that that's not a spoiler.
You can, go ahead, say it all you want.
It's not a spoiler. I'm not going to say it because, it's not a spoiler.
My point is, it's not personal. I'm not saying that How dare you? I think you're casting some sort of weird emotional spell, making up a bunch of bullshit.
It's
trying to act like that actually, in some way, is personal. It's not personal at all. Now I'm being a little insulting because I'm a little frankly offended that you think that. Roar!
No, but
I'm not.
It's like every time I want to mention something about anything, if I say, "Oh, Matt Damon was in," "Oh, I didn't know Matt Damon was in there," it's a spoiler. It's like no, come on.
All right, so let's say you did spoil something, and I point out that's a spoiler. Is that insulting?
If you
so the only way to tell if it's insulting or not is if the accuracy of how you define a spoiler is adhered to by the other person.
If I said something and then you went and saw the movie and you said, "Hey, what you said about that kind of it diminished my enjoyment of it because it actually revealed a key plot point that had I not known prior to it would have been more enjoyable to me," then that would have been a spoiler.
Have you ever had a little bit of salt?
A little bit?
Just a little, just a touch, just a tiny bit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You have never had small amounts of salt?
No, I had a lot of salt.
Okay, have you ever had lots of salt?
There's a ton of salt in this thing that I'm drinking right now.
There's actually sodium. Salt is NaCl. That's only sodium.
Yeah, but I put salt in it.
He's drinking a Coke. Lots of salt. So there's degrees of strength and power, and the same is true about spoilers. Finding out a certain actor is in a movie is a very, very, very minor spoiler. Finding out a large plot point about how some major resolution is resolved or some sort of big plot thing, that's the more traditional definition of a spoiler.
What I'm trying to say
I look at it as it's a simple thing for me. It's not complicated. It has nothing to do with you, nor is it me insisting the world revolve around me. Go ahead. Be an asshole and spoil anything you want. I'm saying that information you don't have that you get without seeing the movie is a spoiler. It's a simple, it's not complicated. It's nothing to do with you and your emotions or me and the world revolving around me or me and my emotions. It's a simple definition. Information that you do not have is a spoiler. And that's what marketing is. If you get a picture of Skittles, you know it's in the bag. Oh boy, that's a spoiler. There's these little balls of sugar inside this bag. That's a spoiler. Movie marketing is the same thing. They're showing you scenes to entice you to come see the movie. That's why they do trailers. That's why they do previews. They want you to get excited about the product. They're selling you something, but they're selling a story. That's why books, I think it's stupid to read excerpts from books unless for some reason you don't give a shit. And for the vast majority of movies, spoil the fuck out of it. I don't care if I find out in Problem Child 2 that the kid's grandpa falls down the stairs holding a cat.
This is the last thing I'll say about it. All I'm saying is that a
spoiler...
spoiler...
I apologize for anything I've said that's been aggressive.
A spoiler is defined by the creator.
I don't agree with that.
A spoiler... You cannot arbitrarily say something is a spoiler just because you personally think it's a spoiler.
Why?
If a company goes out...
I disagree.
When a company releases a trailer for a show or a movie...
Yes, it's full of spoilers. Do they
ever put in the title, spoiler warning? No, because it's not a spoiler if they're telling you to see it. If they're showing it to you, it's not a spoiler.
Right.
It is their product. It is their intellectual property. It's up to them what is and isn't a spoiler. It's not up to us.
I don't agree to that second part, but I do understand where you're coming from. You're saying that because it's out there in the ether... It's impossible to assess it as a spoiler, and that just means that you're being like a weird, emotional, picky little bitch, like you're saying I am.
No, but I'm just saying that.
And those aren't your words.
I have said things in the past about a certain person, like, "Oh, I really like that person in the movie," and you've said stuff like, "Oh, well, I didn't know they were in there. Thanks for the spoiler."
Yeah, I said it jokingly.
But
also in a way like I'd rather not know. Well, I apologize. I will mind my tone around that, and I will be more careful.
Well, she's in Westworld. Are you happy?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to get at.
Yeah. I don't know what movie she's in. Is she in a quiet place?
She's in a movie.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
But it's not a spoiler. Just wanted to get that out of the way.
Yes. Fine. Very good. I'm glad we had this discussion. It sounds like we needed to get a divorce. Jesus
you can
Christ.
Cut it out if you want.
Why would I cut it out? It's really entertaining. That's why because I do feel a little defensive because you said I was insulting you, I don't think that's right because it's not accurate at all.
You were insinuating that I was telling a falsehood when I say it's not. That's a drastic misreading. What I want you to understand is that when I've seen something and I know what the plot is, I would never give away something that is integral to the plot.
Yeah, no doubt.
But the fact that you...
Because you're an angel?
Right, but the fact that you would say something like you would still accuse me of spoiling is saying I don't trust you to not intentionally do something that would harm my enjoyment. That's saying I don't give you trust. You see what I'm coming through from?
I do, and I think it's bullshit.
Well, okay.
Okay.
I think your position is BS as well.
Say it. Fair enough. Good. I'm glad we can agree into that because you're generating emotional factors that have nothing to do with it, in my opinion, about that specific topic. Yeah. And I just want to apologize for any feelings of aggression. Now I'm going to probably be upset about this for several weeks.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, speaking of being upset, Maeve gets blasted. She's got shot all over the place. And uh-oh, this is trouble. And I was thinking during this shot, I bet it's fun to be an actor. You get to put your face on sand. Feels kind of cold. Kind of feels good.
Well, you can imagine how long she had to lay there, though.
20 minutes.
Or how many? Well, I mean, every single time they do a reshot, they light and everything like that.
Well, they probably had lunch and they didn't tell her.
Well, yeah, but whenever you work in a film set for anything, you kind of get sensitive to things like that because they have to repeat things all the time. Maybe it was a one-shot type thing. We don't really know, but it's like they go through a lot of crap.
Yeah, of course, definitely. No, I'm not. I was making a dumb joke about it. Like that's like cold sand feels nice on your face. Anyway, she's. Oh yeah, Lee Sizemore comes in to rescue. So this actually tells us that she's not going to die though, because she could bleed out and die. Or do they bleed out even?
Well, that's the funny thing though, because you would think that she was able to control her. I know there's not a mortality meter; it's a morality, and we got that wrong before. But we've seen her control pain. We've seen other hosts control pain to the sense that they're desensitized to being wounded, to being shot, that it takes a heck of a lot more to bring them down. Like Dolores, she got shot twice, once in the shoulder, once in the side, didn't even flinch.
Yes, that's right.
So it seems odd that this would have taken her down. I mean, she did get shot in a critical spot multiple times, but
it didn't hit her exact crit spot, which she would have gone crit spot. Boom.
Yeah.
But the point is that someone who will look after her has shown up, and it's not just one of these dumb goons with a gun, So anyway, all right. So we're pretty sure she's going to make it through, and then they show Ed Harris struggling, but he's obviously moved on. He's hiding, so I think the implication here is that he'll also survive this.
Which is strange though, because if I were him, I know I'm not going to be the favorite person of these guys, and this squad has basically already been revealed by Bernard in the early part of the episode to be people who are going out and eliminating people who know too much.
Yeah.
So maybe they would just finish him off if they saw him, and maybe he's aware of that. But how is he going to get out of this? How is he going to recover from something that horrific?
He's going to need to find 2 floating turkeys or chickens.
Yeah, I just don't see from a narrative perspective who is going to come and save the day for him, because he clearly has to survive because they're not showing him dead. They're showing the audience that he is still sitting upwards. He's still conscious. He has a possibility to make it.
The place is crawling with corporate security guys and corporate people. I mean, someone's gonna get him.
Who did he leave behind? Who's chasing after him? His daughter, Emily.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Well, that's probably it.
But can she tend to a wound like that though? I don't know.
Well, she can go get help or something.
Yeah, I mean, she dealt with her own tiger attack wounds.
I think you're right. Actually, I forgot about her. But I'm just saying, like, it's perfectly reasonable that one of these security guys is going to see him and maybe not kill him right away. Be like, oh, wait a minute, this is actually like the owner, or this guy's super important, so they're going to know that or find it out. Maybe they have those packets of cards. Remember the red cards?
The red. Oh yes.
So maybe he's on one of those. All right. So moving on. Man, I hope you don't think I was trying to insult you ever. Would never want to insult you.
What?
So I'm so upset. God
really?
Damn it.
Still.
Yes, I'm sensitive. It lasts a while.
I
would never intend to be insulting towards you.
We'll talk more about it later on.
Can we snuggle? Can we snuggle like we used to? Because it's been a while.
I'm just saying. I
wasn't trying to. I'm just,
right, but just flat out, I would never give you a real spoiler about anything.
I know. I don't worry about that. And if you said it, yeah, I know. It's not, I've never been concerned about it. I just don't want you to think that I
care about stories and narratives. I would not ruin anything for anyone.
James, the only narrative I care about is us. All right? I'm afraid you hate me. Do you hate me?
I just don't want you to think that I would blatantly
Why would I ruin that? I never thought that.
Because you called me out on it.
Well, I didn't, but I think that, okay.
And then when I try to say, wait a minute, it's okay, I didn't do it. I didn't spoil it. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
All right. Okay. I apologize for everything, and everything's going to be okay. And in 300 years, none of us will even be a memory in anybody's brain. So
spoiler!
We're all going to be Thandie Newton in a movie.
It's Chrome Dome.
Chrome Dome. Yeah, the Tin Man would be jealous of this guy. Yep. This is some tough acting here, huh, Jeffrey? No, I'm sure I couldn't act this well. All right, so now he's back with the Ford guy, and we're walking up to this castle on top of a hill. It looks kind of
cool. Did you recognize this building before they got up to it?
No, not from far away.
I didn't recognize it from far away either, but I did recognize it as soon as we got to this next shot right here, where we started seeing those plus bricks that we didn't really understand originally.
Totally. I was going to say this felt very video gamey to me. Like they're coming up to a location, there'll be some sort of mission in there, like we could check the dressers for linen.
Yeah, so it was those blocks right there that were the big giveaway.
Yeah. But the last time we saw these blocks, they were in the middle of that mysterious Asian city that was somewhere near where Bernard was showing Dolores way back when. Arnold, but this guy, Jeffrey Wright. So this is really interesting that so we were like, so are we at Arnold's house or is this Ford's house? Whose is it? But Bernard recognizes it. it's familiar to him. So yeah, he's like, oh yeah, it should be. This is what Arnold was building for his family. But has this always been here? Did he create this special?
Well, yeah, but he says that Arnold built it here first. It's sort of like this was like
So maybe
Arnold's Minecraft server. How cool is that? To create something in the digital world to say, hey, yeah, I'd like to have this in the real world.
That's a great analogy. Very much like a Minecraft server. I was kind of hoping a creature would crawl out of the lake, pond. I mean,
so it serves a reason that Arnold could kind of jack himself into this world potentially to go into there. I'm assuming he didn't sit in a chair and have his brain drilled into, but it seems to imply that he had some sort of portal to get into there as a human being.
You mean to like set the building up and have a family there? Is that what
well? I
you're
mean,
saying?
it says that he created it there.
Yeah,
and we know that they did Turing tests. We'll get to that point in a little bit. But this is the room that Arnold was, Bernard was created in.
Yes. By the way, you know what dogs get to do that humans don't do much of? Sun on the pee-pee.
Yes.
Cool room though, man. You gotta have money to have a nice room like this, don't you? You gotta really this looks like a museum. This looks amazing. Mm-hmm. But anyway, Anthony Hopkins, this is where, so Bernard is putting it all together. That's all I know what to say. Testing, who are they talking about?
This is the part that guy in the comment you were talking about that we need to find really kind of nailed it, because he said that for many years we kept you in this digital construct, in this digital world, and we tested you, because at the time that Arnold died, we didn't have the same thing that we had with James Delos. We didn't have the chance to go in and download and photocopy your brain into a digital file so that we could upload it into a host to create the Bernard that's standing before me right now. We had to basically build you off of memories. So we had to take you through rigorous testing in this digital world before we ever dared to put you into a host body to let you into reality.
Yes.
And that's effectively that. This alone shoots down my original theory that Bernard was being refreshed every 35 days or so, that there was actually Arnold's mind inside a host body, which now we know that is completely untrue, because Arnold's consciousness was never digitized.
Right.
He is an approximation. He is a reconstruction from memories, from two people's memories.
Oh, what? Oh, wait, what? Two?
From two memories.
Who?
He's basically said, we built you from memory. The only thing I had left of him was memory.
Yeah.
And at this point, my memories and hers. And at this point, my mind nearly blew up, because I was like, oh my God, it's from Dolores. This means that Dolores was his wife in reality. It all makes sense. But then I realized, wait, no. Arnold created Dolores as his first host. He spent the most amount of time with Dolores. So he used Dolores's consciousness along with Bernard's
the robot
constructed, the robot Dolores' consciousness, along with the Bernard consciousness. That was the scene that we were seeing with the letterbox.
Yeah.
So they weren't in the real world. This means you're not in the real world. You're in the Matrix area.
Yeah, the letterbox. Yeah.
So they were just running Turing tests on Bernard before he was to be released and put into a control unit.
So but the Dolores' role in that process is she's most accurately calibrated to him because she knows him better than anybody else.
She knew the real Arnold better than anyone.
But she was a robot that knew the real Arnold.
Yes, she was a robot that knew the real Arnold, as far as we know at this point.
All the Doloreses we've seen, like in the modern world, black dress, white dress, we've seen her, in those settings. Were those robot Doloreses, or were those human, regular, real Doloreses? I believe
those were robot Doloreses. I want to believe that there was a real human Dolores, and that she was someone important to Bernard. I want to believe that. People have theories going around that Dolores has the consciousness of Charlie in her, which I don't believe is possible, because at the time that Arnold died, Charlie... death preceded the death of Arnold, and even at the time that Arnold died, they weren't digitizing consciousnesses. So it technically couldn't be that.
Yeah.
That if she is someone important, she herself is created from the memories of that person, just like Bernard was created of the memories from others of Arnold.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's
a lot of words.
Kind of jumbled ones, but
no, you're fine. It's not that you're doing a great job explaining. I struggle to keep up. But we don't have any indication who the real Dolores might be or inspired by.
We don't.
Or is it just like, hey, I can make a robot who wants a hot blonde?
Yeah, my crazy theory is one of two things. And this is, people are immediately going to say, well, your theory falls apart immediately because we've already seen Bernard's wife. And I say, well, no, Dr. Ford made him see that. So that technically did not have to be his wife in season 1 that he was talking to with the video phone, because we later see it fade away. We know it wasn't a real person because his wife in reality will be much older than that,
Well,
It'd be about it would be about the age of Dr. Ford. So she was a hologram, or not even a hologram. She was it was Ford behind it talking, and he programmed Bernard to see her instead of him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because when they did show her, they'd like flicker in his face, and his voice would all phase into his voice.
So that could lead into a reveal that Dolores is actually his wife. Or I'm going to go so far. I'm going to go a little bit further. I think she might be his mother.
Whoa! Wow, man, my back hair just way back. Yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, fuck. You caught me. The back hair, the lower. The second half, the lower half of my back.
Oh, okay.
I have basically 4 patches.
I was about to say your fidelity is off.
I have the upper shoulders. I call that the Hamptons, and then I got the 2 on the side. Those are the angel wings. You know, that's not a very creative thing, but look, we'll call them.
Well, I didn't know that.
Devil
Spoiler.
Wings. Yeah,
Kidding.
spoiler. Fair enough. No,
Kidding. No, I'm kidding.
I know you're kidding.
But now I feel like you're internalizing it.
Oh, it's causing turmoil. I'm like, on the inside of me, I'm like Hawaii. I'm just fissures of pain. No. It's the only. Now we're right back to it. I'm just upset that you thought I was insulting you, and I didn't mean to ever intend that. I literally, that's the thing. I don't. You know, you ever see Bambi? I'm like Bambi. You know, I wouldn't hurt a soul. And you're Godzilla stepping on me. No, you're not that either. That's just because that's funny that's how Bambi dies. Yep. But what the fuck were they talking about? I don't remember.
Your back hair.
Oh yeah, my back hairs. All right. Do you think these robots have back hair? Give them some irregular back hair.
If I were designing a robot, I would do it just like a Ken doll or something like that. If you're not supposed to see a part of it, I'm not going to spend time putting detail on it.
Exactly. Yeah, especially if you do real, you got to poke each hair in.
Yeah, but when you let humans come in and start banging the robots, you got to put detail everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Makes it hard.
Can I get one of the hookers with back hair?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's weird, the back hair stuff. It's why people don't. Women will be okay with chest hair. Some women don't like chest hair, but a lot of women like chest hair. They hate it. They all hate back hair. I mean, they tolerate it because women are remarkably tolerant of men. I mean, it's weird. I mean, they put up with our beards. Are you kidding me? We would totally get rid of our beards if they said so. But it's to cover most of our fatty necks. That's why men have beards. That's why that trend has staying power, because people don't want to lose weight. What am I talking about?
I have one black hair right there, and that's it.
Oh yeah, coming out of a big old mole. No, it's not.
I punched myself there.
Oh really?
I leaned up against something.
When you had that cyst that you had to pop, is that what you're talking
about?
No,
that was here.
Oh, okay.
That was fun.
Right.
I used a freaking sledgehammer for that.
Oh god, Jesus.
That was awesome.
Man, and if I want to call DCFS on your childhood.
Oh, it was glorious.
Yeah, I had mine was wacky too, man. All right.
So this is essentially going back to the time when Dolores was doing the Turing tests on him to test for fidelity in the digital stage. This is going back to that interview.
They presented this as like a reveal, though, because there's like a lot of swelling music kind of thing. Because it's like, who is it? So Dolores is revealed. I mean, we know that, confirmed to have more superiority over Bernard, kind of thing, because she's testing him.
So last episode, I incorrectly theorized that this was taking place way after the events that we were currently seeing have taken place, because at what point would Dolores have the leisure to conduct something like this? And it couldn't be in the past, because I was saying that Dolores would have a recollection of this. She would have some sort of memory of this.
Yeah.
But in reality, what it was probably just a copy of Dolores. She was inserted into the cradle in a digital format. This never happened in the physical world. And she was essentially just testing him over and over. So it may not even be the current iteration of Dolores that we know today, which is why she may be disconnected from that particular knowledge.
Right.
But it does confirm that this took place after the death of Arnold in the past.
Yeah.
And over the span of many years.
You know what watching this show feels like? It feels like we're trying to put shredded paper back together.
It does, kind of, yeah.
It's like, I think they have like scanning systems that can do that with a computer, and even that takes time.
Well, it's like as you watch
we're doing it by hand.
You've got all
and
these
it's
little
diamond shreds, not strips.
Right, but you have all these little pieces in order, and you're like, okay, it's all good. Then you watch the next episode, and you're like, oh crap, this actually goes here, that goes there, that goes there.
Yeah. You start, it's real. This is and you get Scotch tape all over your fingers, and now it's weird when you watch porn later. Dolores. So anyway, this is him going like, oh, I get it now. So she's the one that knew me, so she was the best way to test me, to measure my
But we also saw Arnold himself.
So he lived here with Dolores, right?
Well, I mean, in digital form, yeah.
Well, no,
I left you here together for many years, yes.
I think this is early in the park before it opened or something, because this is like an ancient spot.
Well, no, this doesn't physically exist in the park. They're in the Minecraft server right now.
Yeah.
When he says I left you here, he means I left your digital imprint in here with her digital
That's
imprint.
right. Yeah. Okay, you're right. Yeah. The beta test or the simulation.
Yes.
Kind of. Okay.
In the test server.
Yeah. All right. Minecraft's not real? Fuck. Well, man, my kid's going to be disappointed when they get the will.
Yeah. I mean, that's why all the Wendy's burgers are square patties.
Wendy's burger. All right. You said kept us apart, but no, you didn't. So apparently they influenced each other, though. But do we know how he influenced her based off this sentence?
An unusual effect on each other.
Because this whole scene is mostly about how she affected him, because he didn't know he was being influenced, because he didn't know who he really was, or what her actual position, not literally like direct position, but that she had a higher caliber. I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say. So yeah, all right. Anything to add?
I think that's how she would influence people.
Right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, being leaning over and stuff. This is what I do when I want McDonald's to serve breakfast later.
You're almost the man I remember. So she's basically getting it. Because I was about to say, Ford did the same thing to him, where he was like he was saying, no, that's not right. That's not how he would have cleaned his glasses, or that's not how he would have held them.
Right.
So he kind of went through two different people to try and become the shadow of a man.
Yeah, the glasses
that is long gone.
Yeah. So This is right. Murderous species. I agree. Mm-hmm. Pretty murderous. But he's referring to how humans they're not worth replicating. He's trying to do something better, right? I think that's somewhat accurate. But yeah, see, I just read the thing. I have no memory of what's between the thing. This is right. He's saying that you guys are different. You guys are special. You're not just the Chuck E. Cheese band. You're the Chuck E. Cheese band manager. You guys have more power. You're better. You're not just. You're noble.
You're not just a copy of someone. You are. Yeah. Unique.
Essentially, this whole show is just about this guy who doesn't know how to connect with actual human beings, so he invents his own world in order to try to bond with them, and he decides that a few of his favorite toys have more, like these are his safety robots, like a safety blanket, security blanket.
Yeah, the thing that made season 1 difficult was that it was a lot of Dr. Ford, a lot of philosophical musings, and a lot of, false positives, and it always made it more difficult to try and figure out what his true motivations are, or what his words meant, what the subtle undertones and nuances were.
Yeah.
And now we're right back there.
Yes.
In a sense. He's much more direct in what he's talking about now.
Yeah.
But every time from now on I see him in an episode, I'll be like, okay, really got to dial in for this one.
Yes, it's worth paying attention to him. And although in this episode he's done a lot of explaining in fairly clear terms, which I appreciate. But the notion of like philosophical questioning and examination and however that works, they're not only are they doing that with this show, but they're also doing allowing that to influence character and plot, that's what creates all this confusion and sort of how do you know who's motivated, what's free will, blah blah blah, that whole conversation. And then they add extra twists in there with all the timeline stuff, so it's just impossible to keep track of it, especially if you're me. What did you think here though? Was he just taking over? Because this got real ominous.
Yeah, this is the part where Ford basically says, I'm going to become your unwilling passenger. Not unwilling, but uninvited passenger.
Okay. So I didn't pick up, I'm not saying this because I disagree, but it didn't occur to me that he was like penetrating him or entering him or somehow. I could have chosen better words there. Dialing up, docking.
And he's rejecting him outright. Said, you gave us free will. You can't simply do this to me.
Right, but you won't. Yeah. So he's basically saying here, in order for you to use your free will, I have to be in charge. Kind of.
Yeah. So
this was very super villainy.
Right. The thing about Ford is that he cannot exist in physical form in the real world, because he has found a way around that. He is now the devil on the shoulder of Bernard, who walks in the physical world, and yet his mind is with him.
Yeah. Okay, so Bernard's now just a passenger?
Bernard is still in control, but whenever Ford needs something done, he basically takes the wheel.
Okay.
He forces Bernard to do things when he needs Bernard to do things.
Okay, fair
enough. So in a way, Bernard can act on his own free will, but when Ford decides he wants something, he turns off Bernard's free will and just does it.
Yeah, okay. All right.
It's a very crappy thing to do.
Kind of. I wonder how close to the final stages of his plan he is. Like, and how much further does this go? What's the end game?
And the whole point of this scene is like seeing that what went in as one thing is coming out as something different. Ford is in there now. So this as well.
Okay, so this is Bernard's soul ball that had been set in, and now Ford is tapped into it, being placed back into Bernard.
Yes.
And Elsie's watching it, and she's like, oh, man.
Yes, the Dragon Ball is back in place, and Ford is in it.
Is that a Dragon Ball Z? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Is it? What is the ball? I mean, I don't know anything about it.
There are, I believe there's 9 Dragon Balls, and when you assemble them together, it summons the Wish Dragon, the Luck Dragon. Not Luck Dragon, that's a never-ending story, but some sort of weird green dragon dude who has a name that I don't know, but it allows you to grant a wish. You can bring people back from the dead and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's kind of...
I'm not a huge Dragon Ball Z knowledge person at all, but I know...
Sure you aren't.
I know some
I've seen
scattered...
I've seen your tattoos.
I've scattered things.
Yeah, you've had enough exposure to remember some of it. I get it. All right. Oh, ooh, I got you. Ooh, and so he comes falling off. Now, I just got just a little filmmaking critique, maybe this, but wouldn't his hair and head be a little more messed up? Damn, I didn't get a good shot of it. But like, didn't it just do some kind of incision, like a?
Well, it looked like it was soldering it back. Yeah.
Based in like thing that cut the circle off of his head.
Right, and the thing is,
would his hair be messed up or something? I mean,
right, but this takes place before. This is in the past, so. At the time that he was revealed to be a host by finding all the other Bernards around, this had already transpired.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So
I'm not even talking about
but
that.
no one noticed it. But no, that's the whole point. No one noticed that he had a big circular thing on his head.
Yeah.
He wasn't wearing like an oversized yarmulke or something to hide it.
But my point is, you can't even see it. All they did was put a little blood coming out of his.
Yeah.
Like that. I know it's future. You could say, well, there's some sci-fi magic technology that put it all back together and folded the skin. And I don't know, whatever. I guess it's fine.
It is a little too convenient.
It should have. I was expecting him to have like a messed up scalp spot, like it needs to heal now, and like sod, like new sod for your grass.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, there's a thing. Go ahead and pause that one and look at it closer if you want to, everybody. So this lady, they kept showing her. She was doing a bunch of stuff. There's actually, I thought it was Zachary Quinto for a second. You know, the guy who plays Spock in Star Trek.
I was going to go with Sylar from Heroes.
Yeah, same guy. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, Dolores shows up here now. She's doing her confident walk through the thing. She blasts the guy. Take that guy, and everybody's Teddy's nice and loyal. Oh yeah, did you think she was acting goofy here when she was sitting there like that? Look at her.
She looks pretty, confident, overly confident.
Well, I don't think this is her blinking. Like sometimes you get a screenshot where they just blink, but she was just like sitting there with her head kind of like tilted. Her whole body language is.
So you think there's something up with Charlotte Hale?
I thought there was, but I think this episode proved that was wrong. I was picking up on something, and her behavior seemed a little bit different to me.
But you said something at the end of the episode, and I don't know if you're going to mention it later, so I don't want to bring it up if you're planning on bringing it up, or...
You mean the unending love between you and me?
About Charlotte Hale specifically.
What did I bring up about her?
You theorized that she possibly could be a host
herself.
Oh
yeah, I thought she was like, I just assumed it was Ford operating through her because it was like, but I don't think that's the case, right?
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, you could completely convince me, and then they could make it next week where Charlotte Hale's walking around with her arms going like, must destroy mankind. Who knows? So anyway, Stubbs isn't getting any information out of this lady. She won't say anything. It's to blow your pay grade, which is a little condescending and whatever. But he goes, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna blow up this thing, and you're gonna have a hard time.
He actually says, like, I'm vying for a raise now or something.
Yeah, he goes, I like that line. I wish I'd gotten it. So there's a little bit delay between the print screen and the.
So he's demanding to know what is so important that is in Peter Abernathy's head.
Yeah.
That they are basically negating the protection of the lives of other humans just to.
So she says that she answers his question. We assume she's being honest, and she says a decryption key. She didn't say data. So, like, that's different, right? Does that mean that she knows the data is somewhere else, but it's locked away because you need this encryption key, which is more important than the data?
When Bernard was accessing what was in Peter Abernathy's head, it said one-time use key. Bernard was able to bypass that. He looked into what it was and said, oh my god, because he saw what was actually in it. Okay. So I think she is being intentionally vague and kind of dancing around the topic of what it really is by saying that it's a key when it really, there's a key that unlocks something more sinister in there.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's, it's a good lie, I guess.
Yeah, because she has no motivation to tell the truth.
It's the data of every single
no
guest.
Incentive.
So
why would she do that?
Right. So it does make sense that she would lie here. So maybe it's not the key, or maybe it is the key and the data, and it's just that she just only brought up the key part. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. It's hard to tell. Okay. So anyway, loud banging and shouting. It sounds like a good night in some places. You know what I'm saying? when you go to bowling and stuff.
Yes.
So the guys come in with their bang sticks and they're doing stuff and things are falling down and bullets are flying everywhere. Everybody panics. Stubbs doesn't get a chance to shoot. Look, Teddy moving. Oh shit! Teddy's moving in for a defensive attack here on Stubbs to get his gun off of Peter Abernathy. That's good. Charlotte's going hitting the deck. That's
I like this particular shot though because Ashley Stubbs is not a weak guy. He's a security guy, so he can hold his own. So he gets basically attacked.
He belts him real hard here.
Yeah, he hits Teddy in the face, not realizing that it's Teddy, and Teddy has no reaction whatsoever.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and he recognizes him and goes, "Oh, Teddy."
You know you're in trouble when you hit a guy as hard as you can. And this is what he does.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, Teddy, damn it. He's handsome and strong and a robot. Oh, crap. Yeah. We need another word, not right now, but like we call them robots. That just doesn't seem right. I feel like that's going to be an antiquated word in the future. They're going to have some other thing. Although I guess there's all kinds of other words.
It sounds like something, a mechanized thing that would propel a boat.
Yeah.
A robot.
A robot. Yeah, to row your bot. Gently. All right, so gibbering. So now we have a nice little father-daughter moment, robot father, robot daughter moment, and oh, Daddy, it's okay.
So I also theorized that by the time Dolores actually found her father, he would be an empty husk with his brain extracted, just nailed to the bed. So she did find him nailed to the chair, but he is still very much so there. She got there in time.
Yeah, he was going to be like a canned ham. Yeah, he's nailed to the chair. Those are so huge. Yeah. The technological breakthrough. That's Charlotte Hale expressing that, like trying to get on Dolores' good side, saying, "Look how great you are. You're so wonderful.
Yeah, I want to celebrate what you've done."
Yeah, we need to do. Like she's trying to get on her good side.
Right, but she's doing it in a very terrible way. It's basically belittling her at the same time. Saying you're not equal to us. Look how good you've done things, though. You've progressed so far. Good for you. Let us continue to celebrate your success and go back into your pen, you piece of garbage.
I hear you. I don't know if I would read it like everybody is allowed to make mistakes, especially in stressful situations. So it's like, what should she have said? What's the perfect thing to say to actually achieve the goal she's trying to achieve? Probably nothing. I don't think that there's anything she could have done. So this attempt to coerce Dolores with some flattery, I don't think was necessarily misguided or bad. I just don't think that anything would have worked because she doesn't know Dolores, and especially she doesn't know the Dolores has become, which is a savage warlord, and so she says, no, don't take that thing from his head, you know, man. And he goes, oh no, I'm gonna take it, and I know what I'm gonna do with it.
Well, I think Charlotte Hale basically said, you don't even know what it is or what to do with it, and she goes, oh, I know exactly what I'm gonna do with it. Right. So she does have an idea of what it is. We don't quite know as the audience yet what it is. We can theorize that just the data of all the guests that have been collected as they have entered and gone into the park over the past couple decades, but we don't know for a certainty.
Right. Yeah. So, but we'll. I mean, the assumption I made was that she's going to destroy it. That's how I read that, because it suits her interests to do that. Kind of. I guess actually you could make other cases for that. But anyway, so Elsie comes up and Bernard walks over, and he's in this thing. Now, the reflections thing comes into play here.
Right.
And so he turns and sees Dr. Ford.
As his own reflection.
It's in his head now. How dumb am I? I knew that Dr. Ford was here. I just thought he was imagining it.
No. He is.
That's what I was going, oh, wow, he's really in his head, huh? He's just imagining all kinds of Dr. Ford stuff here. That's what I thought. I'm dumb.
No. I mean, it wasn't explicitly clear.
It would have been funny if you agreed. Like, yeah, you are dumb.
No,
it's very true. Which I would have agreed with because it would have been inaccurate. So anyway, yeah, that's a good screenshot.
He's looking at his reflection. Oh my God, I've aged.
Oh boy, talk about cultural appropriation.
Look how pale I am.
Yeah, Jesus. I've been watching too much 60 Minutes. I've turned into an old white guy. All right, so yeah.
But this is essentially the reveal moment where you know exactly what Ford meant when he says, I'm taking your free will back.
Yeah.
I'm coming out there with you.
Yeah, he's turned himself into the mirror on the wall, who's the oldest of them all.
Right, he says, we have other business to attend to, which basically confirms that he is along for the ride.
Right. What are some other movies where there's like a guy walking around that nobody else can see? That's like a thing in a lot of movies, right?
Battlestar Galactica was one.
Hey, what?
Those the two. Then like
Cylons?
The blonde-haired woman, wasn't she able to kind of? She was like a god in a sense or something like that.
Yeah, she was in someone's head.
Yeah,
I don't
and
remember.
because she was always walking around the longer hair guy who was in
Gaius Baltar.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a good example. All right, good. I'm sure there's other examples. Let us know in the comments below. Ford tells Bernard to get rid of her, though. He's like, we can't have her around. We just get rid of her. So he comes up with a plan here. He kind of tricks her. Is this all a lie, or did he just use a useful truth to get her to leave? Because he tells her, we need to get to the Valley Beyond before everybody else does. If we can get there, there's a facility here. And so, before the humans, before Dolores. And we're going to need some firepower. So Elsie's like, all right, I'll go get it. I'll go get her. Right? That's her saying, follow my lead. And then he just walks off. Dr. Ford turns and walks, and then he's like, so does Elsie not notice that he doesn't follow her? Or was she off by herself?
Well, I mean, Ford is trying to guide and force Bernard into doing things, but I think Bernard still has resistance to certain things.
Yeah, no, but Elsie left. Bernard got Elsie to go look for the Valley Beyond at that moment. That's what he was telling her to go do. But I thought it was like, all right, let's go. Because that's him saying follow my lead, not Elsie. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, okay, maybe it was just off on her own solo mission. It just seems like the kind of thing you do together, I guess.
So can we go back at the last text?
More? Forward or back?
Yeah, let's go back 2 more. We need a vehicle. Okay.
Yeah.
What?
He's talking about where's finding the answer to Ford's narrative here.
I got the impression that they were supposed to go off together, but we know that doesn't actually go down that way.
And I'm saying that that's what I had. I thought so too, but Elsie would notice that he doesn't follow her as well.
Well, okay, so here's what we do know. We do know that they go off and they do something, and it ends up with Bernard washed up on a beach.
Correct.
That much we don't know. So for all we know, he did go off with her to the Valley Beyond. Other things transpire that we don't have visibility to yet, and where she is at that point, I don't know, but Bernard is washed up.
Yeah.
Teddy's dead, everyone's drowned, Valley Beyond is a massacre site.
Right. Yeah, okay. I think I just misread this scene, because it'd be because he just turns and walks away. He doesn't like pretend to follow her, you know.
But I think he does,
because he follows Ford around a corner.
Well, he's just observing him.
But but he's doing both. Ford walks off the mirror basically, and they did some camera trickery where then Ford is standing there and he keeps walking.
I'd have to rewatch that scene.
Yeah,
I'm not recalling it perfectly.
It's not a vital detail. We can probably move on to the mustache of justice here, and they've got hair. Oh no! So what does PMC stand for? Private Partio Culminary Motor.
I honestly do not know.
It's the overhead. It's the PA system, right? Isn't that what that is? It's like engaging enemy mobiles above the cradle. Okay,
I don't know exactly what it would stand for, though.
All right, it doesn't matter. So here's this guy having a thing. Clementine, our fave. Everybody loves old Clementine.
And she's using a very large gun, holding down that trigger, and maintaining very little recoil.
Wouldn't her eye be closed to side here? Wouldn't her? Right? Because isn't that how you use scopes? I don't know. I'm sure you can. I'm sure some scopes.
She's still in Terminator mode.
Yeah, she's definitely much in battle mode. This guy's knowing it. Oh man, should I swipe right or left? And nope, she's swiping down, which is killing everybody. Bam, bam, bam! Take that. That is a big ass gun, isn't it?
That is a huge gun.
You know what I look for, and I didn't look for it this time, but most shows the guns don't recoil at all. They just add the flashbang afterwards.
Yeah.
It's all just. There's a lot of that non-recoiling gun, or you just make your hand twitch.
Hers is a little bit, but it's showing the strength of her. I mean,
that's true. She would be able to hold it. Yeah, but it was still.
But the fact that she's not a large person, she's a fairly petite woman. She's tall, but she's a fairly
she's lean. She's lithe.
Yeah. But it's not natural that she would be able to hold something like that. I would imagine, knowing nothing about guns, but I don't think I could do that.
No.
So I think it's kind of jarring to see someone that looks like her able to do that, which adds to the whole impressive nature of her being like a Terminator-style robot now, dragging full-grown men, doing stuff like this, and so forth.
She's dressed up like a highway ghost, and she's fucking shooting dudes in a underground Mesa tower. Mm-hmm. But she's doing a good job, killing everybody that she sees, and having a nice little fight. Oh, look, there's a skeleton hand on the ground. What is that?
That is weird.
That's a huge back scratcher.
That's where that hand went.
They're building. There's a skeleton here on the table, so I guess that makes sense. Man, and nothing weirder than a mysterious skeleton hand, huh?
Yeah, it must be awesome to be working on the set of this thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the kind of stuff you'd see laying around.
It's like working like in a really great haunted house, like with extra good hay. So anyway, she's doing the whole beat up dude things. That's always exciting. These guys all have terrible aim. None of them can do anything. But nice little chokey choke. Take that, jerk. You know, little comeuppance, which is about time.
So
Okay, pal.
She gets shot in the back though.
Then she gets shot in the back, and that ouch, ooh, it hurts. So she does manage to
Didn't expect that.
expect what?
Nothing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Nothing at all.
Yeah. So anyway, she does this move where she uses the guy and turns his gun into her gun, kills the guy. You know, she's pulling all these nice little tricks here, just nice maneuvers. I've always wanted to hide behind a table and have a gunfight. I don't actually want that, but it seems
If it was like a titanium table, I'd be okay with
well,
it.
not real. Nah, even then I wouldn't. I mean, I could do paintball.
Like if it
that'd
had
be
like
fine.
a yeah. I mean,
not.
I don't think I'd ever want to get shot.
I would never be like, oh, it's titanium. Go ahead and shoot my chest. I'd like, no, that's not. We're just not even gonna try.
I'm sure
that.
there's a better material than titanium.
Adamantium or
Yes.
unobtainium.
Unobtainium, yes.
Possibly. Why don't they just call it obtainium?
Oh, speaking of which, vibranium.
Oh, look, it flipped. It flipped to the other side.
Yes. I know you want to see it. You want to watch Black Panther tomorrow?
If I have time, I have a lot of work to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a freelance editing gig that, and I got to clean a bunch. Yeah. So maybe. What do you mean? You got to?
I just realized you can rent it and buy it now.
Oh.
It's out.
Well, I could if it's in a theater. I could go see it with my movie pass. I haven't used that fucking movie pass in 5 months. I'm just wasting.
No, I mean I
money.
don't think it's in theaters anymore.
Oh man, I missed a lot of movies lately. All right. So
Oh, and more to her strength, one-handing.
one hand.
And that's not the same gun though.
No,
that's
no.
the whole. It's still a big gun, but it's not the same gun.
It is a big gun. It looks like
That's a
that
handgun,
that
yeah.
thingy that cover part is going back,
Yeah.
but it's a big handgun there. Then bang bang, take that, jerk! And so she's blasting away. But of course, the dudes do finally get the best of her because there's more of them than her. And ow, my belly area, and everything's bad times. And, oh look, it flipped back over to the. Okay.
Now
Then
I see what
down she goes, and that is very sad.
Now it's coming down too.
Did you pick up on
Yes,
that?
I picked up on it. You took the time to put it behind her.
Yeah, I did a masking on that one right
Yeah.
here. Yeah, got in there with this Photoshop brush
My
tool
God.
on a layer mask, and I changed the hardness of the edge so it wouldn't be exact. Yeah. I'm fucking fast with Photoshop, dude. And that's not even my best work. You can see just a very slight white there inside on the hair
Yes.
thing. I could have gone in there and done a little bit more, but I was in a hurry.
But this is your best work.
This is the stuff I am
Yeah.
proud of. Why is my comedy career failing? I can't figure it out. Yeah, so this is a sad moment though. Let's be clear here. Not just zombie ladies being murdered.
It's kind of hard to be sad for these kind of characters because
Really?
because you know
She's
the
a victim.
Well, you know the potential for them to be revived, resuscitated, brought back by Felix and Sylvester and so
point.
forth is fairly robust.
Yeah.
So this is by no means a sign that this is the last we'll see of this character, much like we see the condition that Maeve's in right now. I would
Right.
argue to the opposite end that William, the Man in Black. What do you think would happen with him? Do you think that he is going to die? Do you think that before he dies, they're going to upload his consciousness into a computer and put him into the cradle so he can confront Ford? Maybe kill Ford and then he becomes the mind of the park?
That's extremely plausible, and I would say highly likely. Yeah, because he's
To
so
atone
wounded.
for his sins? Yeah, I mean, it's
Well,
hard to see him coming back from that.
Yes. Hopefully they don't do what we were talking about. You can punch somebody after a shoulder being shot in the shoulder. You just need a night's rest. Like he's shot in the chest. He's shot everywhere. So I think it'll be like a Luke Skywalker situation, which is it's my cornerstone for any medical reference. Well, he'll be laid up. Like he'll just be out. He'll be flattened out. But they'll figure out like maybe he'll be dying, and they'll be like, oh, we can get him into the system if we hurry up, or maybe they already have it printed, or the schematic is in the Kinko's printer ready to print up, and so. I think that he would. Yeah. He and Ford are going to have at it. We're going to have an old man fight like it's a nursing home on Viagra Day. It'll be good.
I know who's been using all the Viagra.
Oh, you found my.
No, Mr. Dude back there.
Oh, this guy back there. Yeah, well, it wore off right here.
It's almost like a clock. What time is it?
It's 5. It's
6 o'clock.
It's almost 3. Now it's almost 6. And, the implication is that he had an erection while she was alive, and then her death caused his boner to die, which is disturbing, I think.
Yes.
So, speaking of disturbing, he's got a mullet. I'm trying to pick a fight with you, James. I know.
I mean, that's not what that is, but
I know. I don't want to fight any more than we already have. I've had my fill for the rest of our life. our life. Yeah. We're roommates, everybody. No, that's not a mullet because he slicks it back from the front.
Yes.
Right?
Well, I mean, it is...
What would you call that?
Usually, my definition of a mullet is something that is shaved on the sides and long only on the back.
And the top, like a Joe Dirt.
Yes, a Joe Dirt, yes.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Basically, my argument is that a mullet does not happen naturally. A mullet is something that has to be intentionally achieved. It's a style.
Does any hair cut that's not just wild caveman hair or, happen naturally? I mean, all manipulation of your hair, even just running your hands through it to get the grubs out of it and the leaves is, I guess, technically...
I'm talking like using an electric razor to shave the sides of your head.
A Flowbee?
Yeah, a Flowbee. Yeah.
It's my grandma's Flowbee. This one go back real far. It's okay, everybody. I'm allowed to say that. I have negative feelings towards people who I despise. Mm-hmm. So, that I don't despise that. I'm sorry. Okay.
So we get back to the conversation between Charlotte Hale and Dolores.
And
yeah.
I like that she's like stroking him like he's like a threatening kind of like, oh yeah.
It's almost like Cersei with the mountain.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah. Yeah, really? You want to mess with me? I have an attack Teddy, and I will sick him on you. So they're learning about this process. Yeah, so Dolores is not having any of Charlotte's bullshit.
And she's essentially figured out the whole plot that we learned earlier in the episode was actually the true design of Delos for Westworld that James Delos had in mind that Robert Ford ended up carrying on.
Yeah.
Is that they're not trying to make hosts human, they're trying to make humans hosts.
Yes. And in this moment here, Charlotte is all, okay, I'll push back. She tries to pull this dominance move here because she's kind of a corporate, person who knows, probably used to telling people what to do and stuff. But it doesn't really work. She tries, but it doesn't quite work. So this is her saying, you want your backups to die? And then this is what we talked about earlier was that whole thing about the backups being our chains. Dolores is suggesting that they're what bind them down and by getting rid of the backups they are then free.
They trap us here in your warp fantasy.
I kind of disagree, but I get it. I understand it. So warp fantasy, warp 10. Can't go faster. All right, so new scene here where kind of same time frame, but mullet man, not mullet man.
So this is the cradle. We saw Bernard here earlier, the chair that he was in that drilled into his head.
Yeah.
And I was really disappointed by the way this scene ended, which I'll get to when it actually ends.
Okay.
But this is Angela standing there clearly. She's standing in a puddle of blood.
Did we see her get wounded?
I don't recall personally. I mean, are we left to believe that is her blood, or are we left to believe that something else happened here, that someone else recently injected themselves into the cradle?
I'd say it's her blood because of the trail up to it, and then
stops at that point.
And she's standing. And if you walked up to a pile of blood, would you stop right in the middle of it?
And later, but later in the scene, the security guy looks at her and says something along the lines of, "You're in pretty bad shape."
Yeah.
Which implies that she's been shot somewhere. Right. I just don't recall a scene where she was wounded.
Yeah. Well, she was with Dolores walking into the things. I mean, we know she's here, duh.
There's a lot of gunfire, so it's perfectly reasonable to assume. We saw her laying on the ground at one point, and then she gets up, and she's since taken off her Kevlar gear and her guard uniform from the response team that she stole and was wearing to kind of bypass suspicion.
Yes, totally. But the guy just approaches her, though. It seemed like a stupid move.
This was really dumb.
Wouldn't you hang back or just shoot her from far away and then hide?
You're coming in to suppress a robotic host rebellion.
Who's holding a gun.
Yes, you know what these hosts are capable of doing. You know that they are not human. You know they're super strong and that they have killed many human beings. Why would you assume that they would have human emotions to the point that they would be able to be manipulated by your advances? Right. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
It's, attractive women make men stupid.
And I'm trying to wonder...
Women in general make men stupid.
Is this the same thing Bernard was in, or am I just getting that wrong? Is that the Chrome Dome?
Yeah, that's the exact same thing. Yeah, they're in the same room because Elsie's gun is off to the side. Yeah. Let me just clarify what I'm saying about women making men stupid. Mm-hmm. Like, the reason they put, on TV, news anchors, and Fox News especially, with the parade of hot blonde women... Because men get a little bit dumb. We trust, it just makes our heads go, oh man, geez, I can talk to her a little. Maybe I can go over there. Because we have this evolutionary thing where our IQ drops about 40%.
Yeah, but the thing is, if it was any guy off the street, yes, I would agree. But this guy, he knows what he's in.
In this situation, it's crazy.
Moronic.
Yeah. So the whole mesmerized by beauty is very true, and the amount of the amount of Lexuses I've had to buy for, I'm going to think, I don't know, just a call back to a previous stupid joke. Why did I bring it? But anyway, so she's doing her thing there, and man, there's her thumbnail, huh? Yeah, God, I really, geez,
I can't see her hands.
It doesn't look like anything to me.
I don't see any thumbs, thumbnails.
We would get so many more clicks if I did this thumbnail.
But, I mean, that's the whole past that you hate, though.
I know.
Clickbait.
I used to be a professional clickbait writer for the Young Turks. Everybody, I was a guy who did that shit, and I'm still friendly with them, by the way. This would be the kind of thing you'd put in your thumbnail, and then you'd do well. But it's not misleading because this is in our video here, and
right?
But I also don't want to.
It's not the most pivotal point of. I mean, it's important. It's a very important part.
It's the two most pivotal points.
Yes.
But all right, this is getting. Sorry, I feel like I should apologize. This is, with hashtag Me Too and everything. Okay, so all right, I'm not going to put that in the thumbnail. I'll put Bernard's face.
Yeah, so the speech is basically saying, you made me smart but not intimidating. You made me approachable but not blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Basically saying you made me into the perfect object of desire for you. And
right.
I can still do what you built me to do, making a sexual advance at him, but really what she's doing is she's pulling the pin out of one of his grenades.
Yes. So this is her fallback kind of powers is seduction. I have this power too myself. Can I seduce you real quick, James?
No.
All right, ready? I'm going to come up to you. It's me walking. Hi. You ever been in a gray Prius?
Yes.
It's got a backup camera.
Nice.
Yep, my dad helped me buy it.
That's pretty hilarious.
Okay.
But do you think that she needed to do this in order to accomplish the task that she was trying to do?
Of getting the grenade?
Well, no, she sent there to destroy the cradle?
Well, yeah, I mean, she wouldn't have been able to count on a guy with a grenade showing up, so
right.
It's not like that was her plan to stand there like a creep and wait for some grenade to
But she could have just snapped his neck with one hand like that, then taken the grenade, thrown it in there, and not have been in there with it.
Yes, and I think she did do the grenade thing, not impulsively, but opportunistically. Like, oh, here's my move. Maybe she was standing there trying to figure out how to destroy it, and like, oh, here's a guy with a grenade. Okay, I guess this will do it.
Was this her free will way of saying, what, I've had enough of this?
I don't know why sacrificing herself was necessary. It didn't seem like it would
I
be
didn't
at all.
quite understand that.
Because, like you said, snap his neck, toss the grenade, and run.
Yeah.
It's not. That's a pretty straightforward system. Even my dumbest friends could have figured that one out.
So the other obvious question becomes this.
All right.
The cradle was represented as the main server that stored all of the data, all of the personality, everything.
Explosion, yeah.
But does that include the processing units? It can't, because if that included all of that, then every single host in the network would just fall down dead.
Oh, no, I think it's self-contained, isn't it?
Well, the other thing is that this is the entry point where Ford went in. Does that mean that the whole Matrix system has now been destroyed? It can't possibly mean that, because we know Ford is still an influencer. He still exists. So where he is, this may have been the point of entrance to that, but this is not the entirety of that.
Yes.
Destroying this room does not destroy the digital world that Ford is living in.
It seems like it should, though, shouldn't it? I mean, maybe we don't know how big this thing is.
Yeah.
Maybe there's
because they represented the cradle stores all of the data. It's all of the backups.
Right.
So it seems way more critical than they made it out to be, considering that things are still kind of operating as normal after the destruction of it.
Right. Also, wouldn't there be, if the entire secret nefarious, maybe not nefarious, but the entire secret underpinning motivation for the entire building, the entire long project is to have this durable immortality thing, but it requires electricity, it requires the building stay standing, it's got to have earthquake proofing, it's got to have water, it's got to be built properly with probably lots of redundancies and backup generators and systems that will keep it going. So maybe a grenade's not enough to take it out, but also it doesn't seem like they had great security either. I don't know. It's just too easy to just fall back on sci-fi magic to be like, oh yeah, it's really big, therefore it only damaged a little bit of it.
It seems like they did this just as a way to kind of raise the stakes for the host. Now there's no coming back. To raise the stakes for Maeve. Now there's no backups. If you die, you die. Now there's more tension.
So we know that it's only killed the hosts and not the not Ford's little world, Ford's Minecraft server.
I mean, Ford is. We see after the fact, Ford is still. Well, actually,
Ford's out of there now. Maybe.
Right, Ford is out of there now. So it is possible
that it's all gone.
I guess that is true.
Actually, now that I think that might be the.
And Ford jumped ship before the ship went down.
Yeah, he found a sinking Bernard to glom onto.
Bernard is his big black dinghy to call back. Episode 1.
Jeffrey Wright must be feeling pretty proud.
Yeah.
Would you want to see my big black dinghy? That's how I got the role. Yeah, it is. It's his life, her life boat, so to speak. He is the board, and she is the Kate Winslet from Titanic.
Yeah.
Who forced her boyfriend to die in the water. No, I know. Mythbusters proved that you can't have two people on a board like that. So
On a door.
On a broken door. Doors become boards when they get broken. All right, so you want to fight about it? Come on!
Yes.
All right, so I guess that's it. Okay, Dolores and Charlotte Hale are having a little thing here now. All right, lesson by another's anguish. I don't know.
So it's kind of weird, and I don't know what this is, but after the backups were destroyed, it's almost as though this is... Do you think it was a coincidence that this is when Peter Abernathy had...
It's directly connected. It freed him up, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
But why would it have done that?
Because...
Was he directly interfacing with something from the backup servers that was basically scrambling his brain?
If it works remotely, I guess that's possible.
Yeah,
Maybe
I don't...
it's like there's a separate hard drive running, like defragging and getting all screwed up.
It makes sense that the two would be connected. I just don't see how they could be.
Those giant screws, those huge nails.
No, not that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely related, but it does. I don't know how it would work. Its wife. It has to be remote.
I was a little bit saddened that she didn't use her robot strength to just pull out those bolts. I was expecting that because that's what I would do
and
if
bolt
I were her.
Charlotte Hale to the wall.
Yeah,
like she deserves. No, I don't really hate Charlotte.
Dolores is basically saying, I'm gonna come at you and I'm going to do something horrific to you.
It's time for you to die. She gets this bone saw, like
yes.
it's like season 1, episode 1 of Friday Night Lights all of a sudden in here. And the thing, and Teddy shows up to make sure that he can point a gun at somebody. Peter Abernathy goes, Dolores, baby girl.
Yeah, but she's got the bone saw almost right up against Charlotte Hale's head.
Yeah, she's really
when Peter Abernathy saves her inadvertently by saying, "Is that you, my baby Dolores?"
Now, I know she's improvising, but would you hold a person's head and just like press the saw up against their skull and assume that would work out all right? I would want to. I've done some woodworking in my day. You need to clamp it down.
I don't think that's because her other arm is down at that point. I don't think she. Maybe she.
No, her other arm's up. She's holding it up. Like.
Well, can you go back to that?
She's like doing this. Like. Yeah. No, it's up. She's holding.
Is it?
It's bent. Well, yeah. Well, this is down, and then the
I guess it's just completely hidden by the.
Charlotte. Yeah. No, I recall it. I think so. I mean, I could be wrong. You don't see it there, but maybe it's, I don't know, whatever. But her dad interrupts her. Fathers don't like watching their daughters chop the head off or the skull of living humans.
Oh, I forgot to say why that other scene in the cradle upset me. Because I was hoping that she would trick him into getting close enough so that she could shove him into the cradle and have the cradle come in and chop a big chunk out of his head and pull out what's supposed to be a control ball, but it's really just a big tangled claw of brain meat.
Yeah, just digging in Spam with a fork.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping would happen. But
I kind of expect that to happen too. Yeah. I totally thought that was going to happen. She could have put the grenade in the soul ball hole, and then it slips in. No, it's not. The grenades are bigger than that.
Her saw powers have gone down.
She saw the powers. She watched them go down. But she's scared now. Even a tear escapes her eyeball, and she's like, "Oh crap! Don't do it." Oh, you think I need to block that one out? Jane?
Nah, there's nothing there.
All right. Well, yeah, but people are real. Okay, yeah, you're right. Fucking YouTube. All right, so I don't have to block that.
But the interesting thing though that I should bring up is that Dolores is still emotionally connected to her father in a very big way.
Yeah.
Even though later in this episode and in prior episodes she's referenced the fact that Maeve's connection to her own daughter should be more tenuous than it is, because she says that that's just another leash that they use to control you, that it's a falsely associated relationship that you're perceiving to be real. And she knows that Peter Abernathy was not always her father, that he's been repurposed, that he has many roles, that they are not biologically related, that they're both hosts. She understands that from a logical perspective, but she still has this emotional override that prevents her from seeing the logic that she speaks to other people.
Yeah. Right, yeah, in this right here, right? The whole thing with her dad. But she just so what do you? But doesn't she kind of break that at the end there? She sort of
it's
sort of like one last running the software. Kind of
we're gonna when that comes up. I mean, you can go ahead and say it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been jumping ahead more than
go ahead. Yeah.
What am I? Well, we're gonna get to it. I mean, it's coming.
Yeah.
Up.
Okay. Is it kind of a
the
big
reason
reveal?
Yeah. even with the screenshots, my memory's no good. But if you're asking me to do it without the screenshot, no go.
Well, she reveals that she's in possession of something later on.
Oh. All right, we'll find out.
I'm
looking forward to learning.
She transcends her emotional connection to her father, and in order to get back at Delos to win the battle, to win the war that she's fighting, she goes ahead and kills her father and rips out his control unit.
Yeah. No, I remember that part. I was just waiting. Yeah, okay, all right. But then, so they escape again. Bad aim, and she can't hit him. Maybe she's shooting through the glass and it redirects the bullets, and it's whatever. I can make. Okay, fine. We came up with a justification for why she missed them. But these two escape because you can't kill these actors yet. They're not ready to get them off the story. And that's okay, too, because they're fine. So boom, boom, take that there. And now we have a fight with the Mustache King. This is Teddy and Dr. Mustache having a little go. And now this is real scary. All you got to do is get that gun just a little bit in line, and you can let that trigger go.
And it's hard to believe that you're going to overpower a robot.
It seems so. Although this is a big, strong, military dominant guy, even though he's fighting a robot. But this is not the guy. These fellows know how to tangle. That's their whole point, right? Isn't it? Happy see they say stuff like that. That's right out of the Army field manual. But he could have been shooting before he hits him in the face just to scare him. Although he's a robot, so it might not have the same effect it would have on a regular human. All right, so we have a nice little battle. Then Teddy does get the upper hand, of course, and he just starts punching him. And by the way, don't punch his mustache. It's protective. That's why he has it.
And this kind of goes to show the level of brutality that Teddy is ascended to.
Yeah.
That the real Teddy, the real normal default programming Teddy would never do anything remotely like
He'd
this.
pick up his milk. But
he would knock him out, incapacitate him, and then move on.
Yeah, and he was doing these real weird, not weird, but like repetitive punches that were very like
very robotic, powerful punches.
Yeah, it seemed like that. And they showed this, which we, but I kind of expected them to like cut to his face just all smashed up.
Yeah, I did
like
too.
Like a flat basketball, but
like a caved-in skull cavity.
Exactly, precisely. So yeah, there you go. Oh, this is the punching. So yeah, boom, boom, take that, and then he gets up, and this is where I assumed the camera would lower down and you'd see the guy, but nope, top. Okay.
I don't know what the context of that was.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. So, oh baby, I love you so much.
Yeah, so this is basically the build up to them essentially having an emotional farewell to say I wouldn't have it any other way.
But
I would always want to be your father. You made me the man I am today.
Yeah. This is what I'm going to be doing when James leaves the room here, because I'm going to get upset again about our fight. And I'm gonna
It wasn't a fight. It was just. I just wanted you to know that I would never say anything.
I thought we had an unshakable bond, and it turns out it's shakeable. No, I'm joking around.
Okay.
I'm trying to
it's hard to tell.
You're
just such a good actor.
Now that's insulting.
He's such a good actor.
I wouldn't say that. No.
No.
Actually, I'm an okay actor, believe it or not.
No.
I was in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe when I was a kid. I was Edmund.
Oh, that's right. I love that
Didn't
story.
I tell that story on the podcast?
Yeah.
Patreon, yeah.
You were Mr. Turkish Delights himself.
I was the piece of shit boy in the play, and in my life is I'm pretty much still playing that role. My whole it was a fun time. So anyway, this cute little moment. When's the last time you caressed your dad's face? Has it been a while? A couple years? Christmas?
Yeah.
What's the most you've touched your father? I don't mean anything sexual, like hugs. Has he ever like fallen down and you had to
We're not touchy people.
I know, but has he ever like been sick and like or fallen? I'm always terrified that I'm gonna have to help my dad. Like my dad's gonna hurt himself while he's naked, and I'm gonna be like, oh god. So now you have a problem. Do you help a naked dad, or do you cover up his gross balls and then help him?
I guess because he has these like big, giant, bulbous cysts and stuff on his head, and he always likes like he'll like come up to you and hand you like a razor blade and say, "Just do me a favor, just kind of slice it down the middle and squeeze it. It should come right out just like a little marble. Can you do that for me?" But he's on blood thinners because of a heart issue.
Do you think you're Felix and Sylvester?
Well, no, he does. He thinks it's no big deal to kind of do that kind of thing, but he's on blood thinners, so the slightest little cut, he won't stop bleeding.
Wait,
so you have to kind of remind him. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want you to get infected. I don't want you to bleed to death.
How often does that happen? I mean, is that like every time you go home? You go home like once a year, right?
Yeah, it's typical. It's fairly often.
It happens?
Yeah.
I don't know what to say to that. I was expecting you to say like, oh yeah, one time he fell asleep at the beach and and he had his shirt off. And
it runs in the family. I just told you I take sledgehammers to my own stuff.
Yeah, but that runs in America for our horrible healthcare system where we have generations of people that have make their children slice cysts off their head when they go home for Christmas instead of just going to a fucking doctor and having that shit taken care of so they can get back to work and be productive citizens.
I remember when I was a kid, he had us like take a needle and kind of jab it in the middle, and it like so much pressure, like this green stuff went bam against the wall. But the problem is that with a cyst,
Jesus Christ,
that's not a good thing to do because it's just going to fill back up. You've got to get the whole sack out of it. And just punching it with a needle is not going to do anything. Sure, it might depress it and drain it for a little bit, but you're just going to be right back to square one after a week or so.
Yeah, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a cyst.
Yeah, so it's a good time.
Or putting a hole in. I have so many questions. Can I ask you about this on the podcast?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, everybody, if you want to hear more about it, Patreon.
I don't know who'd want to hear more about that.
I'm trying to get people to give us money. Oh yeah, well, if you want to talk about cutting his own dad's cysts off his own fucking dad's face.
And these were not.
Are they on his skull, like on the top of his head?
Yeah, like right here is as big as.
And it's always the same spot.
Yeah, it's about the size of like like a shooter marble. Like the big ones?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
the big
like
marble.
That, yeah. We're not talking like a little skin tag or something that you just kind of lift up and go whoop.
Even that's
this is a very robust, large, and I think as of last year, I think he may have actually had it like finally surgically removed. So I think he did have a big like divot scar on the top of his head
from his children cutting his head.
No, I think he had it professionally done.
I mean, the scar, like over time, he must have scar.
Maybe. Yeah.
It's like you say. It's. I want to say something about Quasimodo, or I don't know. It's just so I can't process all that.
But I mean, if you can do something yourself, without having to pay for it safely and effectively, why not?
I agree. Sometimes the doctor's just going to tell you to go home and give it a few days. Maybe it's not. Maybe you don't need to go to the doctor. But at the same time, surgery. I mean, it is surgery. Like anytime you put a knife to your skin, it's scientific violence. It's deliberate. It's danger. I mean, infection and whatnot.
But when I had like that,
I understand that humans can endure all sorts of dramatic or stressful things.
When I noticed that big thing on my back of my shoulder right there, it freaked me out because I was like, oh God, I don't want one of those things that's on the top of his head to be on mine. so I was like, okay, well, at the time I was working like I was very early in my employment. Sure. So I was still a temp at the time. I didn't have much money. I was, living paycheck to paycheck and like that. So I was like, okay, got a hammer. I'm just going to give it like a couple... And I did that. And I remember like the next morning I woke up and kind of looked in the mirror and my entire shoulder from like the whole back all the way through here was just like a deep purple.
Up and around your collarbone?
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, that is awesome.
Awesome?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you felt better and it made the thing go away...
Totally gone.
I have so many questions.
I don't know.
So
I mean, I still have questions. Where did it go?
Well, I mean, the body absorbs tissues. I mean, like you get an ant in your eye, and eventually the ant just dissolves.
Goes into your brain, becomes Dr. Ford.
Crawls around.
You see him in your reflection. It's just a big ant.
Hey, I got a new home. Come on over, other ants.
Yep.
All right. Boy, okay. We'll talk about it on the podcast because this is. I think we're already at 5 hours of this freaking.
Oh, I think so too. Yeah.
This is bad. We still got to do the quick one.
Oh God.
Which
it's already past 10 o'clock.
I know, and we still got to wait. Last week, people really shat on us in the comments about the quick because I was being dumb and I didn't know the names of people. But this time, James had a very brilliant insight of doing the quick one afterwards because this is kind of like we're studying it up, and so maybe we'll have a little bit more fidelity during the next quick one. So. I'm still horrified knowing that you have to go home and do that to your... man, and I felt awkward asking you to shake my hand. I never asked you to do that.
No, maybe if you have a giant cyst on you, I will lance it. I will lance your boils.
That's comforting. Thank you. Yeah. Well, my stress just went down like 10 HP. HP. Okay. So cars driving up, take that, and we got a lot of people running around. Oh man, is that a boob? Do you think I need to block that off?
No, this is basically the team that has Lee Sizemore and Maeve in her poor condition is returning to the base, to the Mesa.
Yeah. So Maeve very lucky Lee showed up because I don't think she would have survived without him here. So he gets her back, and
So it's almost as though at this point, and this is kind of important right here because it seems like Lee Sizemore for the first time is exhibiting that he's made a connection with Maeve. Everyone else runs off because the PA says, "Oh no, control room under attack," so they go rushing off to the control room. But he's like, "For F's sake, where are you going, guys? There's a woman here. She's gonna die." And then he realizes, "Oh yeah, they don't care about her." Because she's not real.
Yeah.
I mean, in their minds, she's not real.
Just disposable, yeah.
Yeah, and it hurts him.
Yeah. It's like working at the meerkat zoo, and I got to go shoot every meerkat.
Yeah, he has a moment of realization as to how these entities are being treated.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to go to Hawaii and throw stuff in the lava?
In the lava,
Yeah,
yes.
I just want to throw things in the lava.
It'd be a good way to
Like
get rid of
lawn furniture and stuff.
I would like to do that.
There's a video. Did I already mention that? But people threw garbage in a volcano caldera, like a big lake, and it just exploded. It goes crazy. Lava doesn't like stuff. It just because like
Lava doesn't like stuff.
Like when you put oil in hot or water in hot oil, it's like lava's hotter than oil. All right, so those. Okay, so this is Dr. Ford getting into this whole thing about stories where they become music, but the stories are always ongoing. He's sort of intimating that there is no real end. It's all just one big story. And it does change.
And I love this little metaphor he tells about the great library that burned 10,000 years worth of stories gone in a flash.
Yeah.
But it didn't destroy stories. It simply created a new story. The fire itself became the story.
Right. Which, by the way, not as good.
Yeah.
Not as good as 10,000 years of ancient insights at the Library of Alexandria.
But is he trying to say that the calamity that's going on right now is a thing of beauty because even though we're dealing with like decades worth of stories and narratives and things going away, the destruction, the chaos is its own story, and it in and of itself is beautiful?
I think that's exactly it. Yeah, I think you're right. It's the metaphor for what's happening right now. But why is he so calm about it? That's what's so unnerving to me is... Did his plan include massive corporate influence or presence and then massive corporate loss and these mercenary guys, and they're all getting killed, and all the hosts are also getting killed and being freed, and the other parks are having problems? Like, is this the fire he planned on? Because he doesn't seem too bothered. Not that he seems like a panicky guy, like, oh shit, I gotta run around. He's not one of those, but why is he so calm? He's preternaturally calm. It's unnerving.
Yeah, I mean, and if he was really existing outside of the cradle right now as a passenger for Bernard, shouldn't he sense that something's wrong? He's like, did I leave my toaster oven on?
Oh no, I think the Victrola might still be running.
Jock? Where are you, Jock? Jock?
Jock, gonna go side? Time to go side? Wanna go side? I'll just upload you to outside. It's fine. Okay.
He's got Jock on a USB stick.
Yeah. Jock comes back in and he goes, okay, I'll upload a treat. Okay, there you go. Bloop, 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 bloop. Take a treat. And then Jock poops out a digital poop. Okay. Why are there reflections on here? Why, if he's not a real guy, how come he has reflections? Or did they choose this spot because they noticed that this material...
That's actually a pretty good point.
This material has numerous different warpy reflections.
I was staring right at it thinking like, oh, it's funny. It's a disembodied, double-sided, bald forward head.
Yeah.
But I should have realized, reflection should not be there unless...
Everybody knows he's like a vampire.
Yeah, but I mean, is Bernard programmed to see it when it's not really there? He's not physically there.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Maybe. Yeah. Fine. Yeah. I get it.
It does make for a interesting visual, but still, from a logical standpoint, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It's just as plausible that Bernard, if he's imagining him there when he's not, and he can also that imagination would include reflections.
Yeah.
When I think of unicorns, they usually have shadows. Take a thing of beauty and do a blah blah blah. Okay, so now this is also a very surreal scene here with the fighting going on.
So this I was not totally aware of what was happening because this is the moment when the control room is being taken over. These are Wyatt's men basically obliterating the security forces when Dolores does her attack on the Mason.
And he's using the ultimate weapon, jazz hands.
So at the time this was going on, we know that Bernard was originally in the cradle, then he emerged from the cradle, so it makes sense that he is physically present here. He's not simply reliving a memory. This is happening in the present before his eyes.
Yeah.
And yet no one's attacking him. He's completely safe. He's not worried. He's calm and collected. It seems a little weird.
This is me trying to get the pinball machine to work. Yes, I agree. It does seem quite weird. It's hard to know what's happening.
Because my interpretation of it at first was that he's not really there. He's just simply realizing what's going on. Ford is giving him a mental projection. But when you put the timeline together, where he came from and where he's going, I think he is there.
It's almost like he's under Ford's spell. Like if he knows he's close to Ford, or Ford doesn't seem concerned,
like he's immortal,
nothing seems to go wrong for Ford. And therefore he'll be fine, or I don't know. But this is the shot where I thought this was Zachary Quinto. I was like, oh, why is he in this? And I was like, oh, it's that one lady they were showing. Yeah. All right, so take that face. See, these guys are having a fight. There's guns. Guns make nice weapons, even when they're not being used for bullets. You can just use them to hit people with. Boom. This guy's up there shooting. Look at the gun. I wonder if this is just a special, where they just did a mask. I mean, I could do this kind of stuff. I know there's probably a little flashbang thing in there too. Boom, boom, take that guy. Yeah, gets him right there. And There you go. That's a cool shot. That'd be
That
good.
kinda is, yeah.
I like that. And nothing better than lit up smoke.
And I think like a shot very comparable to that was in the trailer as well.
Yeah, probably. I think so. This room is cool though. This whole like sunken
Yeah.
map thing and the Google Maps in the middle there. So Bernard is just I don't know what his deal is. Is he confused? Is he just absorbing things but doesn't know? He's not ready to do something.
I think he's under quite a bit of pressure right now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And he's
doesn't-
not necessarily like a action guy. So I mean, meaning like he's not gonna
Yeah.
give him the people's elbow off the top rope.
But he knows at any given time his free will can be stripped from him and he can be forced to do something he doesn't necessarily want to do, which has always been true because he was forced to do that to Teresa. He was forced to do that to Elsie.
Yeah.
He was forced to kill the people in the lab when he extracted the mind unit, the control unit for Ford, and then took it to the cradle.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not anything new to him, but it's kind of more blatant because it's being done when he's conscious of it.
Right.
He's not kind of losing consciousness and then doing something where he doesn't necessarily recall it. He's consciously being forced to do something, which is so much worse.
It's definitely worse. Yeah, it describes most working relationships.
Is that an arm breaking? No. Oh God, that's freaking
no.
me out. No, that's not what it looks
this
like.
This elbow belongs to this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was
see
about
what
to
you're
say,
saying,
that's horrible, but no.
That snap arm or snapping your leg thing. There was one, just another stupid random aside, a female sprinter or hurdler, track and field thing. It's an old video. I think it might be 70s or 80s. She's going hard. She's running real fast, real hard, and she takes a jump. And something about the way her knee was, whatever, she landed real bad, and her foot. The camera, so it's like the distant side camera of like the thing. So you don't actually see her leg, but she goes down, she rolls, she tumbles down, and she ends up with her butt facing the camera. So you don't, but she's holding her leg, and you can't see her lower leg. You cannot. It just looks like it's just like a rounded off at the knee because she just happens to not. You can't see. It's her whole fucking lower leg had been bent up to her belly, and she was obviously in terrible pain. And
I'm not even seeing it, but I'm picturing it, and it's making me cringe.
It was horrible. It's like, you're going, oh my God, you can't, because you're like, why is her leg not there? And I go, oh shit, her knee is up there.
Yeah,
it's brutal. It's poor. Yeah, I hope she's okay. So she's probably died of old age by now. Yeah. All right, so anyway, we got a whole bunch of violence, and Bernard's confused, and Anthony Hopkins is creepy with his keychain there, and the Mad Hatter. We did a whole video about that. It is yours. So. Anyway, they want to shut the system down, James. Tell me. Go ahead. You go. If we shut the system down.
Well, Ford is basically saying this. What I've been telling you all along, Bernard, is that this is not my story. This is your story now, which is kind of a bullcrap thing to say when you're just going to jump into the driver's seat whenever you feel like things aren't going the way you want them to go personally.
Yeah.
It's like, you're going to cook Thanksgiving Day dinner. No, this is your production. This is your production. And then every time you step away from the stove, you go and then you start throwing stuff in and stirring the pots. It's like,
yeah. Or like you're painting a whole house, but every once in a while I show up and I'm like, I'll do the mailbox.
Yeah, well, yeah, or someone comes in and starts to micromanage something or change something or take the reins whenever they want to. That's kind of what he's doing.
Yeah, it seems like that. It doesn't seem real fair to poor old Bernard here. But how can he type on this tiny keyboard? That's ridiculous. Yeah. By the way, does anyone ever press F1? F1 is hard. It's usually help. Yeah. It'll either send you to an in-app thing or to a website. Come on, reprogram your F1 button, everybody. I'm just giving you all advice.
So essentially, Bernard is shutting down the system. So what does this mean? Does this mean that Dolores will be free? My interpretation of this is that if you shut down the system, then any host is no longer going to be susceptible to control commands.
Okay, yeah.
That they're all essentially off the grid because the grid itself is down.
It's like turning the Wi-Fi off, sort of thing.
Yes, so that they're essentially free from the control of the main Mesa.
Yeah, unplugging the Roomba base.
Okay.
And then the Roomba goes outside and goes, I'm free, and just starts sucking up dirt because that's what all it really wants to do.
Yes.
But yeah, because I was thinking this means that they can't be resurrected because that's what Dolores said it would free them was those are the chains. But what you're describing is probably is what I just said too, but in addition to what I said, your explanation is more of the actual what's happening because
they're
losing the
off.
leashes,
yeah.
Which that didn't occur to me. But they can't do the backups either. Well, that's what Angela made sure of. All right, very good. Initiating general shutdown. This looks like a weird hot tub, doesn't it? Like a hot tub filled with iridescent whipped cream. So anyway, is this a self-destruct or just it's a big shutdown? They're not self-destructing. That's
why is that guy's arm up like that?
He's doing the moon, doing some kind of dance. I don't know.
Fist pumping.
Yeah, fist pumping. This looks like a dinosaur head, or a little bit. There's a hat.
Yes.
All right. I always thought this map was like a hologram thing.
I did too. I thought it was something that was like malleable, that it
Yeah.
could like reshape itself and form and zoom in and
Yeah,
stuff. But
like
it
a
looks
little-
like it's like a plastic cast now.
Right, yeah.
Because the guy's physically laying on it.
Right. Yeah, it seemed like it was like a holodeck kind of gizmo. But anyway, so poor Lee Sizemore standing there. Look, the vehicle's having a fart. That's funny. Ooh, the fart. Ah! And oh no, there's some more stuff going on. It's stuff. So here comes Dolores. Dun 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 dun. She's got her voice and her men. And I wish they broke out in the song. I'm feeling a little Broadway lately, James. I feel like we all need to just express ourselves in interpretive dance a little bit more.
So here's
Let's solve
the
our
weird
problems.
thing. Is
Go
that
ahead.
when where is Hector and Dragon Face Lady, Felix and Sylvester?
Well, they didn't get a lift home, so they're still back near the homestead, probably
Because
wondering what
Lee
to do.
Sizemore was taken.
Well, Lee Sizemore called up the help with the phone.
Yes.
And then he turns up with the dudes. Like
Yes.
you said.
Do we see Lee Sizemore get with them though?
I don't think so.
We don't. Okay.
It didn't seem like that happened. Because he was also with Felix and Sylvester.
Right,
Although,
so-
didn't Felix go running in? He was all kind of...
Yeah, it seemed like they were all kind of running in to protect, to
not
fight against
Sylvester.
the Ghost Nations, but we have
Yeah.
not yet seen what happened to them, because it seems like they're like the last bastion of hope for Maeve.
Yeah, but if she got taken into a car and driven off, then they're separated. I mean,
Yeah.
that's it. I don't think it's
So
much
how
more
is
complicated
Maeve?
than
I mean,
that.
is Maeve going to be uploaded into the cradle as well? Who knows? I mean,
Could be. Maybe the cradle has its own cradle.
Yeah.
For all we know.
well,
like
actually, I'm stupid. She can't be uploaded in the cradle. The cradle's gone.
Oh, yeah, the cradle's gone.
Duh.
I was thinking this is like a shower thought. I think I even might have put this on Reddit. I don't
Yeah.
remember. But I think it was like we know that we have to worry about the AI, the singularity AI taking over when they start to worry about the AI. Get it? When they're worried they're inventing AI. That's how you know a whole nother round of AI is coming. And then it just all starts to get worse. Does that sound like insanity, or does it sound like it makes sense?
Yeah, why do they call it artificial intelligence when they don't call what we have natural intelligence?
Yeah, I don't know. Right, yeah, because ours isn't real.
No.
Ours is just I don't know. Intelligence is an interesting concept. I think that it's situational. But all right. So how did you get here? I don't know. Oh, she's talking to me.
Well, what she's talking about is not how did you get here. I think it's kind of a double meaning. It's not only how did you physically get here, or how did you reach that point of injury. Someone whose will to live is so strong, whose desire to fight is unparalleled.
Yes.
And the whole about another rope they used to lash us down was because she says, this happened to me because I was trying to protect my daughter. And she's trying to say, Maeve, your daughter is not your daughter. She's just another rope they try to lash you down with.
Right.
It's a fake narrative that's implanted in you. Even though, going back to it, she herself is tied down by the same rope with her father.
Yeah.
But she shows at this point that she has transcended the bounds of that rope, because we find out in the next couple of shots, I think, or the next couple of scenes, that Dolores actually has with her the control unit that she ripped free from her father's head.
Okay.
But what she's saying right here, though, is a little bit more to a different point.
Right. Yeah. Well, this is more their philosophical differences between like family or like Maeve is kind of advocating for staying and fighting, or I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
What was
But,
the
like,
last thing that was said?
that we have? Is that how you...
Yes, is that how you can justify what you've done to him? And she's referring to Teddy.
Right.
So this is the part where we were saying there is this big difference between Maeve and Dolores in the past episodes when it comes to the concept of free will and choice. Maeve gives people choices to a degree. When it's a life and death situation, sure, she'll go do her voodoo witch thing and you know, make sure that she changes the minds and hocus pocus, all that kind of stuff.
You will serve breakfast until 11.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if it comes down to something where she's giving someone the choice to do one thing or other, she's not going to force them. She's not going to reprogram them to fit her will. That's why she wouldn't do it to her daughter, because she has too much respect for what she is and what she can become, more human.
Right.
But Dolores is completely different from that.
Very much so. Although I think that what's going to happen here, and I had predicted, I might be wrong here, but that Maeve and Dolores would have some sort of headbutting thing near the end of the season. But it might turn out that I was incorrect there. Wow, shocker. But it seems like Maeve is here to teach Dolores a little bit of humanity.
Yeah.
Hey, Dolores, don't forget to listen to your heart. Don't
Yeah.
just listen to your angry brain. Which she's right to be angry too.
Yeah, but this is not turning out the way I expected it to. I'm sure we got a long way to go as of yet still, but
Yeah.
it's and there's the big reveal, the control
Okay.
unit.
So she pulled this off her dad or out of her dad's head. But does that? She murdered? Did she kill the dad, or is this in order to rescue him? She's got to like put him out and then come bring back a new brain with better dad software.
I mean, without that, you're just an empty husk. You're a shell. So,
but it can be rebooted.
I imagine it could be rebooted.
Like
but
the CPU is just missing.
Yeah.
Right.
But the fact remains that she had to dig through her father's head. She essentially had to inflict horrible injury and pain to him in order to get that out of him.
Yeah, that doesn't sound familiar at all. I don't know anybody who's had to inflict pain in their father's head.
Oh, yes.
And horrifying bloody.
I was only extracting green and yellow gook, not his control unit.
I feel traumatized just hearing those words. You had to live that.
It doesn't bother me. I mean, I don't...
Boy, I don't know. I mean, I'll look after my parents. I'll show
No, I
up.
mean,
I'll show up to their.
The last time he asked me to do it, I gave it like a few like solid swipes of a razor, a straight razor, to see if I could at least open it up a little bit for him. But then I stopped and said, you know what? You're going to start bleeding. I'm not going to be able to stop it. Let's not do this.
Yeah. Fucking A, man. If my dad asked me that, I would worry about his health. I mean, not his cyst health. I'd be like, are you okay? Because you shouldn't. Not that I'm suggesting you should be feeling that way about your dad. I'm saying in my situation.
Now, my dad's a really sharp guy.
And my dad and I would be able to. I'd be like, no. I would be like, fuck no. I'll take you to the doctor. Let's go to the doctor. Yeah, my dad does have health insurance because he's old.
No, mine does too. It's just,
I don't have it.
When you're in the middle of the country, the doctor's a very long way away.
True. Yeah. No one wants to be bothered. But luckily that's why you have kids. I remember one time my dad lost a TV remote clicker, so he made me and my brothers take turns standing at the TV, and he'd go up, up, up. All right, stop. Okay, go up, up.
I mean, that's probably the only good reason to have children.
Yeah, make them do stuff like cut cysts off your head.
Yeah.
Is your dad's favorite band Sista Soldier? Soldier? Sista?
Twisted Sister.
Twisted Sister?
Yeah.
Is your dad's favorite TV show Goo's Clues?
Yes.
That actually could... Okay, all right. Sorry. Somehow that got slightly racist. Or no.
Goo?
Well,
goo, if you put a K on the end of it, yes.
Yeah, getting there. That's what I'm extra sensitive to it because it's good to be thinking about this shit more than, it's about time our fucking species grew up and stopped looking at each other and looking at differences. We should look at each other and see similarities. Right, James?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why you and I get along so well. Yeah. All right.
Like
So
looking in the mirror, only not.
only worse when you've been. Oh yes, this is you see the light after the darkness. So she's still into their whole like, oh yeah, anguish and pain causes us to become conscious and stuff.
Yeah. Well, Maeve is basically accusing Dolores of being lost in the dark because she sees what Dolores has done to Teddy.
Yeah.
And Dolores is essentially saying something pretty sinister right now. She's saying that everything that is good and powerful inside you, to read the exact quote right there.
Yeah.
They will take that and they will turn it against us, to use it against us. They will weaponize you. They will destroy you. And I don't want that to happen to you. So I am going to offer you the option of a peaceful exit. I will kill you here.
Right. Yeah.
And Maeve says, no, I can't let you do that because I made a promise.
Yeah, that's a little much to just be like, oh, well, we don't really agree on this thing, but maybe now's not the right time. We don't have enough time to really get into it, so how about I just shoot you in the head?
Yeah.
Like, maybe we could just talk about it later.
But I think Dolores says something on the lines of, is like, she respects her wishes, but she doesn't believe Maeve's going to make it, obviously.
Right.
So she says, I didn't want your story to have to end here, but that's your choice.
Yeah, and to prevent you from becoming a tool to them.
Yeah.
Basically, he's just saving you from that. Like,
But this is, I think something resonated with her when she accused her of like what she did to Teddy. Is like, maybe this is her wake-up call, that free choice. Maybe that's her takeaway from Maeve.
Or planted the seed in which, when she sees Teddy commit further acts of violence later on, like when he tries to
restore his firmware.
When he tries to beat up a lake, she'll go like, oh, yeah, let's get him back. Oh, I miss my old sensitive boyfriend. Yeah. Women like bad boys, James, but that gets old.
Yep.
All right, so there's speaking of bad boys, Lee Sizemore. Why do they show him? Just show that he's alive, or that he knows something that I don't know.
Well, he's at the point where he's one of them, being the humans. Yet now he's hiding from them because it seems as though he's now more so on Maeve's side. He wants to protect her. He wants to resurrect her and do something. Mm-hmm. He has compassion for her.
Yeah.
So she does have somewhat of an outlet for a potential for survival.
More like Lee Size morals.
Yeah, he's coming around as a character.
Your agreement to that. So,
I'm okay with that.
No, I know. I appreciate it. Like, you're like, yeah, that's exactly what I...
Sure.
By the way, mesa is Spanish for table.
Yes, I remember that.
Plateau, and there was one other thing there that I forgot, but yeah, somebody pointed that out in the comments. So anyway, we got people running around in the grasses, and Dolores is making this funny face, so it's all like, like she's filming like an 80s music video.
Yeah, she looks like she's having way too much fun riding a horse.
Just kind of getting into it too much. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If you've ever ridden a horse, there are moments where you might smile or something, but she's kind of rocking it out.
Yeah, but she just dug the brain out of her father. You'd think that she'd be a little less gung-ho right now. She'd be a little bit more solemn.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe.
And where is she carrying it? Is it just like a saddlebag somewhere there? She's got her father's brain in?
She's got it in a coffee can, like a high school egg experiment.
No, a milk can.
Yeah, milk thing. Yeah. Milk. They're going to shoot it up, and it's that with my high school, they'd shoot it with like a slingshot up in like a water balloon slingshot, and if it breaks, they would test it by how it impacted on the ground. Yeah, I wasn't in that class. I was jealous. So yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? All right. So follow me, Bernard. Let's keep going. Wow, look at this person's legs. Oh, that's two people. I think. No.
I think
no, it's not. No, it's one person.
You think?
Yeah. It just looked like the feet were not oriented correctly, but no, but they are. That's fine. All right. It is. I've confirmed it. I have. No, I just had to look at it a little bit more. PMC number 3. Hands up, asshole. Get out of here. So
PMC does
private
not
military contract.
Okay, yeah. So that does not reference the intercom. I'm sure.
I assumed it did.
I'm sure by the time that anyone gets to this part, not 10,000 people, but at least 4 people would have said
not that
something.
many comments, but we get 8,000-9,000 views. Is pretty amazing for these long ass videos.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Bernard says, "Don't shoot. I work here."
Yeah, and they're like, whatever, get out of here. So, but Ford is telling him to pick up the gun while these dudes are standing there, and that doesn't seem like a smart thing to do.
Yeah, and
they're all jacked up. They're not going to let him pick up a gun.
Bernard is resisting him to his best of his ability.
Right.
Before Ford eventually pushes the override switch and says, "Okay, you're going to do it now."
Yes.
And I'll ease your conscience by saying it won't be your fault.
I was pressing print screen here. Gun cocks. This could be a billboard for a band.
Another trailer shot right there.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
So I close my eyes and I put my thumbs in my ears during trailers and I go la 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 la.
Yep.
I'm glad I got this, and I also got this one here.
Yeah, that part was obviously not in the trailer. Can you imagine if that were in the trailer? That would have ruined so much.
This has got to be like a repeated all over the internet somehow. But I was just hammering print screen here.
Yeah, I'm really glad you got that one.
Well, mostly black screens, but I wasn't sure what was going to happen. But I was like, there's going to be something nutty in here, so I'm glad I at least got one of these. Look at
I mean, the thumbnail should be these two edited together. Like a side by side.
Well, see, I don't want to put spoilers on the thumbnails, so I do close-ups of faces.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm being considerate to other people.
Yeah, I mean that would be a massive spoiler.
Huge spoiler. Yeah. Even like just showing somebody dead is a spoiler, so I would be careful. But that's why.
It would be. Well, I'm trying to think if we've ever done that.
Like if I. Anyway, yeah.
I don't think we have, but.
Maybe the best video we did was remember the gold naked women in season 1. That I did the thumbnail for that with the blocked out things. Yeah. Pure clickbait. It got like so many more views. Like,
were they good views though? Were they people who just click off immediately, or
probably a good bit of them had a low watch time? But I'm not making a case why if I should do the boob shot of the other one. I'm just saying like that works, and there's an incentive there. You can see why companies, shows, channels, they're no wonder they do that stuff, because it does work.
But people want to be that guy though.
No, not necessarily. I mean, we all make compromises. I'm not even going to be that guy this time. I'm just saying I wish I was. because we'd get more views, but I'm not going to. That shot's kind of funny. I don't know, just his face, like the bearded Cheshire cat coming out of nowhere. But all right, so Bernard and Dr. Ford. So why did they flash to Dr. Ford though? Are they just indicating that it's a dual person now?
Yeah,
Bernard's the body, but he's the real.
Exactly, that Bernard's not the one doing this. The architect that's orchestrating this whole thing is actually Ford. Yeah. Ford is acting through him.
Yeah, and they're flashing lights at his face because there should be a flash here and a flash on his face. So anyway, yeah. So Ford's. I wish Anthony Hopkins was more of a sumo wrestler. And he started like pounding the ground and doing his little ritual thing, and then gets up there in a big diaper and runs. Yes. All right, so then we cut to, this is pretty impressive. We hear Dolores talking, and it's Bernard. We've seen this room before. There's a wolf over here. Yep, see, there he is. So this is the early days. Is this Arnold or is this Robot Bernard?
We'll go back. What did that just say?
It's Dolores.
She calls him Bernard.
Oh, well, I guess that's a good answer.
But it seems like if I were looking at this, and this is an early first iteration of Dolores, I would think that would have to be Arnold. Yet she calls him Bernard, which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably Bernard, unless Arnold said to call him Bernard, which would, I don't know. Is there a horse back there? Looks like isn't it? Like there's legs?
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, it might be.
Looks like it could be a giraffe.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna say camel, but it's very much giraffe, more giraffe style than anything.
I don't think the legs. I guess the legs are pretty long.
It's kind of short for a giraffe, but the arc of the back is very giraffe-y.
Yeah.
Those giraffe fights are amazing. You ever see them fight?
Where they swing their head against each other.
Yeah, they're massive, huge heads, and they're super strong.
Like the ones with subtitles.
Subtitles.
Yeah, where one giraffe's like, "It's a spoiler." The other one's, "It's not," and then he knocks him out.
And then one of them swears too much and says, "Take that, other giraffe." It's weird. So anyway, let's get into look at her feet. She's got the little cute robot feetsies. She's got the hand on there. That's good. She's...
So this was a series of fairly quick shots that are coming up pretty soon, right?
Yeah. Yes, there's some flashbacky stuff going on here. But real quick, though, just a close-up, this is cool. Look at the fingernails.
I was really excited during this part because we kept hearing the same words being said over and over and over. Dolores saying, "Who am I? Who am I?"
There you go.
And then it flashes to Charlie. And I'm thinking, holy crap.
Yeah.
Is this trying to imply that there's a bit of Charlie's personality being put into Dolores? Is this trying to imply that Dolores is in fact someone that's very critical and important to Arnold? Is this trying to imply that maybe, Dolores is the mother, the wife, someone pivotal? I don't know.
Could be. Very much could be. It could also be simply that this is his cornerstone. He's reliving definitional memories, like the first time he talked to Dolores, the first, this whole thing with Charlie in the hospital. Whatever's going on here, though, because is this him showing robot Dolores this world? Is this him like after he got her all put back together?
That looks like the scene
that Laffy Taffy skin and hooked her up and turned her.
Yeah, where he took her to his house to show her the splendor of the real world.
Yeah. Have you ever seen so much splendor?
But now we do know that that's not inside the Minecraft server, essentially the cradle, because it wasn't blackbarred out like that, and that wasn't the same terrain that it was actually existing on.
Yes,
it was actually in the Chinese mainland.
Yeah, in that city, whichever nameless city that we don't know yet. Was filmed in L.A. We know, but it's in the show. All right, so this whole thing is suffering, though. Maybe is this like him relating to Dolores because they both acquired their consciousness through the crucible of pain?
Yeah. Is that what's happening? Is that supposed to be Charlotte Hale there? That's kind of how she dresses.
A little bit. I don't think so. I'm looking at a pretty white foot. Not that she couldn't change color after being in the water long enough, I guess. I don't want to speculate on that too much, but I don't think so, but maybe. We can hope. I have no idea. We know they're not robots because they're not floating, or maybe they.
And I like to imagine that it's going to go back to the whole idea that Dolores is a conglomeration of exactly. That the Dolores is basically a cacophony of important people to Bernard.
Yeah.
To Arnold? Why would he allow that, considering the horrible narrative that Dolores is on, where she was continuously raped and murdered?
Like if she's someone important to you. And actually, I remember in season one of our discussions, one of us speculated that maybe Dolores wronged him in some way.
Yeah.
Or not that she deserves to then be sentenced to a life of robot rape, but that that might have been some sort of like, we want to punish this person and make a model off of the like talk about revenge porn. I mean, Jesus Christ.
But there's never any sense that Bernard or Arnold has any animosity towards Dolores. It's only adoration.
No. They seem very. I mean, you know,
they're fond of one
They seem
another.
affectionate.
Yeah.
It seems. Yeah. I never. They don't. That's wrong. I mean, the notion that they're trying to punish her, or
But
you know what I mean. But yeah, why?
But it does seem as though he created Dolores as a way to try to transcend death, to try and create consciousness in the hopes that maybe he could, at one point, perhaps bring back Charlie or something. I don't know. It's like to reverse the irreversible.
See, I think I know. I don't know if there's any evidence for this, but I just feel like Charlotte and Charlie are too much of a coincidence. That and I think that Charlie is Charlotte.
That Charlie grew up and transitioned into a woman.
Could be, or that in his memory is a boy, but it is actually a girl. They have similar skin tone.
And that Charlie didn't really actually die, and they just made it so that he died to create an emotional cornerstone for him.
I don't know. I don't have any evidence for it, but I'm saying it's not.
Could be.
Considering all the nutty ways, identities, and
Can you go back to that picture of Charlie?
Sure. Memories get done. Switching a boy to a girl in your brain, and I know I've already said this on one of the previous episodes, but that's not in a weird robot memory brain. It's not that big of a leap. Considering all the other crap that's going on with the show.
You know how I know, though, based on that screenshot, that's actually that Charlie is Dolores?
What? Charlie's
They
Dolores?
both travel with a teddy.
That's actually a great point. That might be on purpose.
Is that a rabbit or something?
No, I think it's a teddy.
Is that a teddy?
Yeah, that's a foot.
All right.
Maybe
I don't
it's a
actually
rabbit.
believe that, by the way. I just wanted to go for the teddy joke.
No, that was a high quality joke. That was one of the above average ones. So, all right. So Dolores or Bernard's having memories here. By the way, Ford's in the background of this time.
He's just doing his own thing.
Well, he's making Bernard kill Teresa, but this is also a flashback, and I'm glad that I caught this because this is very quick. This woman is famous. I mean, she's a known actor. We know her. She's from Firefly, but we've never seen her again ever since.
This is the first return to her.
But this is the same, like the memory of her during this conversation.
And it does flash briefly, and you see Ford behind it.
Yeah.
So it's bringing that back. This is the moment that I never trusted. I never assumed that this is exactly who Arnold's wife was.
But I'm saying it's even more of a misdirection that they use a known actor. Right. She's a recognizable person. So we see her and we think, oh, well, she's an actor. We're going to see her again. She's a good actor. You know, we see her a lot of stuff. But she doesn't return. I think that was on purpose. I think they knew they probably had to pay more. I mean, usually the more well-known you are, the more expensive your labor is when you're an actor. But anyway, okay, so now he's killing Teresa, his girlfriend. He bashes her head against the wall. No, I'm not sure why that made me laugh, I hope.
Who in the world am I?
Right.
And I'm sure he's asking himself that same question as well. Because this is when she's flipping the tables on him, where she's kind of posing the same things as him. He doesn't really understand who he is. He just knows that he is built on the memories of another man.
Right.
He is not himself.
Yeah. I still think if you had two people's memories of
better view of the teddy there.
Yeah, that's the foot, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Is that like one of the feet? Yeah. What if there was like another crew working on the teddy bear? Come on, breathe. Be cute. All right. So, okay, what's in his eye? What's in his? What do we see in reflection?
Oh, we do see a reflection.
Charlotte. Oh yeah, so this is when the whole episode took this fucking turn that drove me crazy. So I'm feeling fairly informed most of this episode.
And this is Bernard's face right here.
Yeah,
right?
This is Bernard's face. So this is Bernard. He's kind of going through. Let's back up. He's having these memories. So you notice the camera angle doesn't switch. It looks like the same shot. And then these flashbacks here. He's having memories of these important events. And then it cuts to him opening his eyes.
Something wrong with this world.
Who says that? Where's that? Is that you talking or
no? The subtitles.
Where? Back? Should I back up or go?
No, go back.
Right there?
Something wrong with this world.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is a reoccurring line.
Yes, that's
Dolores says that at one point.
Where you're like, I have that feeling about my life, but mine comes in the form of, when is the mothership going to come get me? Because I know I'm not the only person who has a feeling like that on this planet. So anyway, no, but it's the opening of the show of this episode was this interview here with Charlotte interviewing Bernard. And again, it's not something she does a lot, but okay, she's doing it now. That's all right. It doesn't necessarily mean she's Dr. Ford, and I don't think she is, although I suspected so at the beginning. But this totally erased all the progress I'd made as far as understanding this stuff. Because, this episode felt really substantial. There was all this other stuff. So what does this mean?
Is this a continuation from the moment where we last saw him being waterboarded?
Yeah.
And is this now picking up where we left off there? So now we're in the most recent time span at this point?
Flubs, the Noseman, Floki, Stubbs, they're all here. And they're not panicked or worried. They don't seem like there's a big, bunch of violence going on. Obviously, there's still potential for it. But they're just... So was the entire episode just this Bernard being influenced by this interview? Is that all we've watched? Is any of this even true?
Most of these episodes are just filling in the gaps in what happened in the past. Rarely do we get any sort of forward progression in the current timeline. We're getting a little bit in this episode right here. We're in the present at the moment.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it's all made up, but then they kind of hinted that it might all be made up. Like this, obviously the Maeve talking to Dolores, all the shooting and stuff.
I don't think any of that was made up.
But everything, no, I'm not suggesting it is. I'm trying to clarify that I'm not suggesting it. But everything related to Bernard in this episode, we now can question. We don't know if any of that happened. It might all be from here because of this fragmentation, defragging process that he's going under right now.
But all that kind of stuff happened a while ago. The problem right now is that they're trying to query him, but is Arnold at this point, is Ford at this point still inside his mind? And is that data that he potentially or allegedly extracted from Peter Abernathy, is that still in his mind as well?
Yeah. And you'd think they'd have a way of telling, wouldn't they? Probably. He's probably got to have at least 128 gigabytes in his head, I think. It's a big one. So this is trying to get out of him information about what are they looking for, though?
They're looking for the control unit for Peter Abernathy.
Oh, the one that Dolores has?
Yes.
Okay. Because he gives up some information here, right? Doesn't he?
Right.
He says, I like when they go analysis and they just completely change their demeanor. I don't know. I wish I could do that to most people.
So the question becomes, how does he know where the control unit is? Is he giving away the location of where Dolores is? Because the last time we know about the control unit, Dolores has it.
Right.
But this is in the present, so we don't know at what point, there's still a lot of stuff we don't know.
Right here. Yeah, he gives out some info. So, maybe it's because he's tapped into the mesh network or something like that.
Well, the network's down.
Or some other... remote local... Wasn't there like some sort of local robot host thing?
Well, the query system, but that's contingent upon there being...
A network.
A network. And if the network's down, because he took it down in the past, have they reestablished the network at this point?
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
I don't know.
We don't have the information needed.
Yeah. So, how does he... Yeah, I don't know. How does he know? Is this a guess? I don't know.
It's based on something that he knows that's going to transpire in an episode that we've yet to see.
Yeah, it seems like that's the case. All right. Well, anyway, that's the end of the episode. I hope people enjoyed this. James, did you enjoy your time watching this?
I'm just dreading oh God, it's almost 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
If I don't get to bed, I'm going to be
dead. We got to do this shit and get moving. So I'm not going to animate again. It's so nice not to animate. It doubles the amount of work. I can get this stuff done. It still takes work. It still takes a bunch of it's not that complicated editing, but it's late at night and it's tiring. So doing the animation is so fucking tedious. It's just I love it, but it's just doing it late at night. Plus I've been editing all weekend. I got that little gig, so that's been keeping me busy. But unless you have more to say, we can pick it up later with the podcast or on in the comments or on Twitter. We always love hearing from people at VideoJamesSP, at Suckprofessor. For me, or my personal information or Twitters are in there too. It's mostly just me being angry about politics and Trump and stuff. So if you might not want to hear some spout off, then don't go to it. Why am I talking this much, James? So we're gonna be okay, though, James. I actually feel like these kind of things are bonding for us.
Okay.
And if I ever have a cyst, I will absolutely have you cut it open. And what do you do with it when do you cut off? Do you have it in your hand when you're done with it?
Well, it depends on...
You flick it with a pencil?
Well, it really depends. And sometimes if you're lucky and you make the incision across the entirety of it, and you can squeeze from the bottom and it pops out intact and it doesn't explode, then you've got the whole sack. Then you've got everything interior, and you can just kind of get rid of that and then suture up the... I don't suture things up.
Well, so what do you do with the open sore if you cut off the bubble?
I think he typically just puts a Band-Aid over it.
Well, that'll work as long as it's
like one of those butterfly Band-Aids that kind of holds it together.
Yeah, that doesn't really contact the middle, but it sort of has the boy, I just...
But it gets messy when it kind of, when you puncture it and then it comes out as, the crap inside. And then you got to kind of reach in with like tweezers and try to tease out the sac to remove that so it doesn't refill.
So there's like a central core thing that needs to, like it forms a bubble around this hardened thing. And then you go in there with tweezers,
Well, no, I wouldn't do that.
Oh.
But that's
you
what
just do the scalp, a razor blade.
No,
Do you sterilize it in like a candle, like a prisoner?
No.
About to give someone a tattoo.
First I feed the dogs and I cut the dog food with it.
Yeah.
And then I go straight in.
Yeah.
But no, it is the most, like I said, the most I've ever done is like a few swipes with the razor blade. Usually he gets my mom to do it.
Okay, cool.
And she kind of goes in on it and everything like that, but it's like...
That's what marriage is all about.
I would definitely not... If I had the choice of putting him in a car and driving him to Richmond to a doctor for like 2 hours or doing it myself, I'd take the car any day.
I think that,
I am not a doctor. I am not qualified to do anything of that, nor am I crazy enough to believe that I am. But I'll sure as heck take a hammer to myself.
I hope you don't do that again, not because you don't need to. The whole hammer thing, wait for the apocalypse, and then you can be a doctor. You can be James, the apocalypse doctor.
Yes.
Just got a hammer and a razor.
Yeah. That'll be on my medical card.
That's actually pretty funny. But, yeah. All right. We'll talk about more on the podcast on Patreon. So patreon.com/Suckprofessor if you guys are curious about it. Or if you just want to help out a little bit with a little bit of $1 or $2 here. If you ever buy a beer and tip somebody $1 for 2 seconds of opening a beer, maybe think about the many hours and maybe it's worth $1 or $2 to that. Just as comparison. Or if you don't, that's also totally okay. Absolutely all right. I feel like an asshole, but it is kind of part of how this whole YouTube ecosystem works. The more support we get, the more... eventually we reach certain thresholds where we can do more stuff, and actually I think our ultimate goal is to get us on video, you and me. How do you like that prospect?
That'd be fun.
Yeah, we got to get a certain number of Patreon people.
It would be even weirder though. You wouldn't be able to edit so easily.
Well, no, I would sync it up. It's just like it would just.
Well, no, I mean like when you like.
Oh, when I'm clapping it in.
Yeah,
the thing?
People don't hear that unless like an editing problem happens.
Yeah. I do. I clap in the microphone to make a waveform spike, so I know where to edit. Otherwise, I have to listen to it. That's just horrible. But okay, all right. Well, enough rambling. Wow, what a long one. We really went nuts tonight. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, James. I love you. I know you don't love me out loud, but on the inside, I think you probably do.
Spoiler.
I'd let a guy punch me in the face for you. If you ever get mugged, I will come to your defense.
You hear Benedict Cumberbatch did that?
Yeah, he like saved a couple of guys. Yeah. There was a video of a dog that rescued a woman who was being purse snatched.
I mean, that's pretty rough to call Benedict Cumberbatch a dog. But...
yeah, you've obviously never seen him wet. You kidding me? That guy looks like a Skeletor at the pool. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye. Thank you, James. See ya. Goodbye, Bernard. You'll be okay eventually, my friend. See ya.